Brandon, which is in the southeast corner of the state. Quick Trip says plans to open 5 more stores in South Dakota over the next several months. And the Brew Crew held St. Louis Cardinals to just 6 hits during that 6-0 win at Busch Stadium. Probably feeling pretty good about that if you're a Brewers fan. What does Wade have to say?
Nothing's done until it's done. And I think we've done a good job in this clubhouse keeping it that way. And guys are still, I don't know the word to use, but we're still hungry to get to that so we can, get that division and move on from there.
And, people ask me, what's it like to work with Kasper every day? And
I don't know the word to use.
Lucky. For Sports Talk 105.1. I'm Morgan McCarthy.
Starting off mostly in the 50s and 60s this morning, pretty similar to the last few mornings, but we'll have some intervals of clouds and sun and possibly a few chances at some showers later on this afternoon and evening. Tomorrow brings a few more chances at some showers and a few rumbles of thunder as well, with highs in the upper 70s and low 80s before we start to cool things down on Sunday as highs remain in the low 70s. I'm 13 First Alert meteorologist Mike D'Andrea.
Hey there, athletes and active folks of the Chippewa Valley. When it comes to your health and performance, there's only one name you need to know: Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. They specialize in getting you back in the game. Their expert team of orthopedic specialists and sports medicine doctors will treat your injuries and provide personalized care. Your comeback story begins at Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Just visit cvosm.com. That's cvosm.com to learn more and to schedule your appointment.
Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Info at positivecoach.org.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's the show that features serious, thought-provoking sports talk and insightful sports commentary.
You knew it!
In other words, it's the show where they all talk a crap load about sports.
Let's go for it!
Now let's introduce your host, a man who lives and breathes and has a passion for sports. A man who breaks everything down in the sports world and gives you everything you need to know. Plus a bunch of stuff you probably don't need, but you'll still enjoy it.
You can't handle the truth.
Here is your host, Dan Kasper.
Prime time! Prime time!
Show up on the air on your radio dials of 105.1 FM, 790 AM, also available online, sportstalk1051.com. You got the app, take us on the go. Google and Alexa home devices. Video stream also up and rolling on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. But happy Friday, everybody. Hopefully, if you're already up and at it, you're off to a good start and just make it through today, and then we got the weekend, baby. Oh, man, what do we got on the game? We got a lot of stuff. What do we got on the game plan for us this morning? Brew Crew getting it done again, and the Pirates helping out the Brewers here a little bit. Magic number down to 2, and the Brewers could clinch as early as tonight. They could clinch as early as tonight. How about that? Magic number to 2 for both the wild card and the division. But here's the thing. So Brewers taking on Miami tonight, okay? Brewers beat Miami. They got a wild card spot at least clinch. Brewers beat Miami. Rockies beat the Cubs. Brewers got the division. That simple, all right? It's that simple. Here we are. Magic number 2. Sitting at 2. Feeling pretty good. It's going to happen this weekend. You got your horses on the mound with Corbin, Brandon, Freddie. It's going to happen, baby. It's going to happen. So don't want to put the horse too far ahead of the cart here, but got to be feeling pretty good, Brewers, right now. Going to be going back to the postseason. I think we say it now. It's not really a bold prediction or anything like that, but it's going to happen. Now you just hope Please stay healthy. Please stay healthy, especially your pitchers. Don't get hurt in these last few games. And hopefully you get into the postseason still playing pretty hot. Offense put up 6 runs, blanking the Cardinals 6-0. Wade Miley looking sharp, picked up his 9th win. Sounds like Christian Yelich is going to be back here soon. Was kind of insinuated yesterday that the way the Brewers have been playing in the wins, that kind of allowed them to, not have to rush his back issue and such. But yeah, we're going to talk some baseball coming up a little bit later on, especially with Mr. Brandon Berg joining us as usual, just past 7 o'clock. So Brewers got their 87th win, 21 games over 500 right now. Gotta love it, baby. Gotta love it. So we got that coming up. Badger football in action tonight, going up against Purdue in Purdue, 6 p.m. Kickoff there. So we're going to talk some college football, talking about this Badger game coming up here tonight. Two Badgers 2-1. Although I think it's fair to say that the Badgers really, if you look at the final scores for their wins, good wins, but anybody's watched them, slow starts and such. I think it's fair to say that a lot of Badger fans, maybe not too pumped with the way things have started so far this year. Maybe it's just because, we put some high expectations on the first year under Luke Fickell and such. But now the Big Ten season officially kicks off here for the Badgers as they travel to Purdue tonight. So we'll talk some college football. I mean, you got some good slates of college football games coming up tomorrow too. A lot of people talking about the Oregon and Colorado game. Wish Travis Hunter was playing in that game. But other ones on the docket here, you got UCLA taking on Utah, Ole Miss taking on Alabama. The big one, Ohio State and Notre Dame. You got Oregon State taking on Washington State. Then Iowa visiting Penn State. So if you got nothing going on tomorrow and you're just going to watch a whole lot of college football, not a bad day to do it. You got a fairly good lineup coming up here. So, but we got college football we're going to chat about. We're going to chat with Dr. Crow inside the training room, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. He's going to be joining us less than an hour from now, 7:05 this morning. So going to talk a little Bakhtiari with him and that, and kind of get his thoughts on what's potentially going on with that knee from David. So, but we're going to lead things off here in just a little bit. We got Green and Gold taking on the New Orleans Saints, the home opener. Anybody listening going to the game on Sunday, by the way? Anybody heading on over there for the home opener? But we're going to take a look at this game. We got the coordinators who talked yesterday to the media and such. Perhaps some good news from practice yesterday. Aaron Jones returned to practice. So he was out on the practice field. Christian Watson was not, but that was part of the plan. That was part of the plan for Christian Watson to not practice. That he hit his workload the day prior. Off day. I don't know if that necessarily means he's still going to play or he's not going to play when it comes to Sunday, but still good news to see Aaron Jones out there on the practice field yesterday. It looked like he was moving around. He was moving around pretty good too. So no David Bakhtiari again, which probably isn't surprising a whole lot of people out there. So, but I want to hear some of your keys to victory. We're going to go through some keys to victory, some stuff that you're going to be watching and for this game, like matchups and all that good stuff. So we've got that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line, the Texan line, fired up and ready to go. If you want to give us your predictions and any other thoughts leading into this matchup between the Packers and the Saints, Week 3. Saints 2-0, Packers 1-1 right now. This is an intriguing matchup to me. And I was looking at the schedule a little bit earlier this morning, and I'm like, man, just looking at this, at least in the early parts of how everything's been working out in the NFL season so far, you can make easily the case Green Bay can win these games. I think there's going to be a lot of tight games where Green Bay wins or they lose, just based on some of the upcoming games on the docket, on the schedule here so far for Green Bay. But this New Orleans one's kind of, I don't know if tricky is the right word to describe it, because they got a good defense. And when you look at the Saints, and it's just 2 weeks of stats and numbers, number 10 total offense, number 5 in total defense. On the flip side, if you want to play a little devil's advocate, you could be like, well, look at the teams they played, Tennessee and then Carolina. Only 3 teams in the National Football League have allowed a touchdown drive this year on defense. Dallas, Cleveland, and the Saints. Again, devil's advocate. Well, look at the teams they played. But still, it's impressive. And then you look at it. You know, you got May, who's going to be missing time in this game. Their starting safety was suspended, but they still got, you know, Cam Jordan up there, Marshawn Lattimore, Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. So, I mean, they've got players on this defense, and they're a stingy group. So I look at this. I look at this game, and the thing that really stands out to me is, or I think maybe the biggest matchup, if you will, is this Packers offense going up against the Saints defense. This is going to be a big test for not only Jordan Love, but I also believe for Matt LaFleur and his game planning, how he calls the game, that sort of stuff. And the big thing here too is Aaron Jones going to play or not? That's a key factor in this game. It changes a lot of things. He plays, it opens up the playbook a little bit more. And the other factor in this too is the offensive line. The offensive line, who has been, I think, a big reason why Jordan Love has been pretty good to begin the season. Not great, because that completion percentage, I think, has to go up. And I know it doesn't factor in drop balls and that, but you'd still like it to go up. But that offensive line with the injuries on the left side, that kind of throws a wrench in everything. It's just, this is an intriguing matchup to me, and I think it boils down to who's going to have the better day on Sunday. Is it going to be the Packers offense, or is it going to be the Saints defense? It's going to come down to that. And there's other layers to that too. So that's where I want to lead things off here this morning, all right? Like I said, I've got that texting line fired up if you want to send me some predictions or any of your analysis on the game and such. We're going to lead things off there. Then plenty of Brewers talk here too, because the Brewers are on the heels of clinching their 5th postseason in the last 6 years. And I'll just say, in New York, if you haven't seen it yet, New York Post, they're already talking about Craig Counsell going to the Mets. They're already talking about it. I was reading it last night. I think it was John Morosi or Hyman, one of the two? Might have been Morosi. I'll have to double check it. But reading it where they said that it's expected now that Craig Counsell will manage somewhere next year. There was, and no big surprise, some thoughts about could he take the year off. But according to that article, sounds like he's, according to their sources, planning on managing next year. But where is kind of the question now. Could David Stearns lure him over with a big payday to the Mets? I don't know. Maybe it's me putting the blinders on and refusing to believe something. I don't see that. I mean, I'm sure it's attractive to have a big payroll and all that, but man, if he's got a couple kids yet in high school and such, I don't know. We really don't know. I don't know Craig Counsell personally, but just from the outside looking in, way from the outside, I don't see him as a fit for the Mets, but who knows? But he's definitely due for a big pay raise. Somebody's going to give it to him. If he wants to manage next year, somebody is going to give him a big payday. And perhaps maybe the highest paid manager in baseball. The title of best manager in baseball for Craig Counsell has really spiked up this year. A lot of national people, a lot of people around baseball believe that. So, but it's starting. It's starting. New York Post, Counsell to the Mets. You knew it was going to happen. You knew it. But let's talk some football coming up here. Talk a little Packers Saints. Thank gosh it's a football Friday, mixed in with some good baseball talk too. We'll be back in just a couple minutes to lead things off.
Got a take on today's topics but can't call in? Then hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or the text line and let your fingers do the talking.
The reviews are in. It's the best thing I have ever tasted in my life. This is the best thing that's happened in my life. Even better than my wedding. That's what everyone has to say about Man Cave Light, the official beer of the Dan Kasper Show and the Man Cave Podcast. Try it for yourself and you will know exactly why people say it's like sipping a little bit of heaven. Man Cave Light is available on tap at the bar in Hy-Vee. You can also grab a crawler or 6 and take some Man Cave Light home with you. So go try your new favorite beer, Man Cave Light, today. And you will know exactly why one reviewer said, I cry tears of joy every time I have one.
The key slides into the ignition. The engine rumbles to life. My hand grips the throttle. New gear for my ride. The road, my invitation. The sound, the smell, the exhilaration. I am one with the bike. And the car in front of me suddenly turns in my lane. Motorcycles are everywhere, but too often go unnoticed. Please, always look twice, be alert, and share the road with motorcycles at all times. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
If your credit card bills have gotten out of hand, call Consolidated Credit now. If you're making the minimum payments, but your balance is just not going down, call Consolidated Credit now. If the interest rates on your credit cards are so high, it will take years to get out of debt. Call Consolidated Credit now. They've helped over 5 million people. They can consolidate your debts into one lower payment, reduce your interest rates, and get you out of debt fast. If you're struggling with credit card debt, call Consolidated Credit now.
Call now, 800-552-6750. That's 800-552-6750. 800-552-6750.
Consolidated Credit Counseling Services Incorporated, 5701 West Sunrise Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33313. Not a loan company licensed by the New York Department of Financial Services and by the Vermont Department of Financial Regulation. Maryland DM 19, Oregon DM 80031. Licensed by Virginia State Corporation. Commission license number DC 32. Establishment of a plan may adversely affect the individual's credit rating or credit scores. Non-payment of debt may be creditors to increase financial charges or collections activity, including litigation.
Winter is straight ahead, but let's think of some warm spring weather. Join me on a farm tour to Costa Rica and Panama, March 23rd through April 1st. We'll visit the Doca Coffee Estate, a local Costa Rican farm, and receive an agricultural presentation in Panama. Other stops include the Arenal National Park, and we'll sail through the Panama Canal. Visit holidayvacations.com, keyword wax, for more information and to watch a travel show, or call 888-557-1020 for a free brochure.
Are you tired of living with constant pain? Well, it's time to take control of your well-being and experience the healing touch of Shepke Chiropractic. Whether you're struggling with back pain, headaches, or even stress, Shepke Chiropractic is here to listen, understand, and provide effective solutions tailored to your unique needs. They believe in treating the root cause, not just the symptoms, so you can experience lasting relief and improved quality of life. Their welcoming environment and compassionate care ensure that you're treated like family. They're not just focused on your spine, they're focused on your overall well-being. Don't let pain dictate your life any longer. Take the first steps towards a healthier, happier you by scheduling a consultation with Shepke Chiropractic today. And to make things easier for you, they have 2 locations to help better serve you. Rediscover the joy of pain-free living with Shepke Chiropractic. Visit ShepkeChiropractic.com for more information and to schedule your appointment. Your journey to a healthier, more fulfilling life starts here.
Now at Staples, the prices of HP printers are dropping. Save on HP Smart Tank and enjoy even more savings on ink. Save on the HP Inkjet, perfect for high-quality pics. Save on HP laser printers, great for tackling high-volume document printing. Now through September 30th, save on Staples' entire selection of HP printers, some as low as $69.99. With HP printer price drops at Staples, now is the time to upgrade to HP, America's most trusted printer brand. See staples.com/HP for details.
There's no better place to watch and cheer on the green and gold every single game than 44 North Gastro Pub in Altoona. $3 domestic mugs, rail mixers, $4 margarita mugs, and bloodies and more. Plus the food. Can't watch the games without sustenance. $2 chips and salsa, $8 slider baskets and pretzel twists, $10 pizzas, and $13 wings. Oh, and of course, free touchdown shots. 44 North Gastro Pub on River Prairie Drive in Altoona. Get your game on.
He's smart, informed, entertaining, and he knows his sports. In other words, he's the kind of guy I'd like to settle down with in a small, cozy cabin in the woods. That is, if he was a woman with a case of cold ones. The Dan Kasper Show, weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
Hungry for the best cuts in town? Look no further than Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire. At Mike's Star Market, they take pride in offering you the juiciest steaks, tastiest brats, and a wide selection of other meats for you to choose from. Whether you're grilling, roasting, or just craving something delicious, Mike's Star Market has something for everyone's taste buds. Now that we've made you hungry early this morning, it's time to go visit Mike's Star Market when they open up. They're located at 2238 Heimstead Road in Eau Claire. Maybe getting the grills fired up for a little tailgating action and such. Deer hunters, if you got a deer and you're wondering where to take it, maybe get something processed. Mike Star Market does as well. Make sure you're following their Facebook page. They got some prices listed up there for all you deer hunters if you've got something that you want to take in over there too. I know if I'm lucky enough to get a deer, I'll be taking it over there. So, all right, let's get things going here this morning on the leadoff. We got a lot. I'm really pumped about today because we got some good stuff to be talking about. But Packers, Saints, little preview for the home opener. Anybody going to the game, by the way? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody? I look at this as an interesting matchup. And again, I don't think we fully know all these teams yet. It's only 2 weeks in. The third week's officially started last night with the 49ers. And I think there's probably a couple teams that you're like, yeah, we already know who they are. 49ers being one of them. I think that's fair, right? But for some of these teams that came into this season with a little bit of an unknown around them, I don't know if we've necessarily know a whole lot about them yet. And there's two examples in this matchup with the Saints and the Packers. Saints are coming in at 2-0 with wins against the Titans and the Panthers. Packers 1-1, beating the Bears, falling to Atlanta. Should easily have been 2-0 heading into this game. But when I look at this matchup, I look at this as Green Bay's offense versus New Orleans defense. And I think this could be a deciding factor in this game for multiple reasons. One, even if Aaron Jones is playing in this game, you kind of wonder, will he be on a pitch count? You know, how available will he be? So that still puts a lot of pressure on A.J. Dillon, the entire running back group, the entire running game, to go out there and be successful, because I think one of the biggest keys that I have in this game is you have gotta win time of possession. You have got to win this time of possession battle. You do that by having long, sustained drives, scoring drives, but running the football. You have got to win that time of possession. And then once you get to the fourth quarter, if you're able to consistently move the ball, wear out that Saints defense. If they get to the fourth quarter, their hands are on their knees, they're gasping for air, that's when you kind of go for the kill shot. They've got to win the time of possession, but they've got to successfully have these drives. Not just long drives and you're coming up empty. And the way to do that is establishing the running game. I think this is going to be a big game for Matt LaFleur. We'll see what the offensive line looks like when we get things going on Sunday. We'll see what that group looks like over there, especially on the left side. We'll see if Aaron Jones is going to play, Watson, whoever's going to be available. But when you got this defense that you're going to be going up against, Marshawn Lattimore, Cam Jordan, guys like that, and you got a young offense and your offensive line's a little bit banged up, this is where your play caller, and in this case, he's also your head coach, he's got to get a little creative. He's got to scheme some guys open, make it easier on Jordan Love, make it easier on these youngsters to get open, make some plays. No, I think Matt LaFleur has done a pretty good job so far in the first couple of weeks of scheming guys open. Don't believe me? You can look it up. A lot of national peeps out there saying the same thing. But I think he's gotten a little bit more creative. A lot of motion involved, especially down in the red zone. But I think this is a big game, too, for Matt LaFleur. If that offense is going to be a little bit banged up and perhaps a little bit shorthanded, how can he go in there and make things easier for his offense? How can he take some of that pressure off? How can he take some of that pressure off of a guy like Jordan Love? How can he get his offense to have those long, sustained scoring drives that keep his defense off the field so they're not gassed and you're gassing the Saints defense? I look at Matt LaFleur as a big key into this game offensively. And I think you got to have some big plays. I think you got to go out there. Love, we know one of the issues or weaknesses in this game has been the deep ball, the accuracy with the deep ball. You might have to convert on a couple of big plays. If you have the opportunity to hit on a big play, got to hit it. Got to hit it. Because those opportunities might be a little too far in between with this defense. And I know I mentioned the offensive line, but whoever's there, big reason why I think Jordan Love did the biggest thing. And I know everybody's talking about quarterback ratings. Number 1 quarterback rating in the NFL. Number 4 QBR. But you look at his completion percentage, it's 30th. And I know that factors in drops and that sort of stuff, and it's only 2 weeks in. But still, you'd like to see that completion percentage get up a little bit better. But the big thing that has really stood out to me from Jordan in these first couple weeks has been the composure. It doesn't look like the moment's too big. He looks calm. I'm sure there's going to be some butterflies rolling with his first start in the regular season at Lambeau Field. He started games in the preseason, but now it's the regular season. But a big reason why I think Jordan Love has looked that way in those first couple games has been the offensive line. And however that group's going to look like on Sunday, they got to continue to play at a high level. They got to continue to provide that protection for him to make him comfortable back there. And open up some holes in the running game too. But I think it's almost kind of like a chess game. On paper, it looks like the Saints defense is better than the Packers offense. Stats-wise would prove that too. So I look at this as a big moment, as a big game for Matt LaFleur when you factor in some of the injuries, the availability, maybe pitch counts for some players, young guys. This is a moment for Matt LaFleur to go out there, make things easier for his team, but also kind of showcase, hey, I got some stuff up my sleeve too. I'm a pretty darn good play caller, game planner and such. On the flip side, if we're switching things over, you look at the Saints offense, Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, your 2 wide receivers. I don't know what the plan's going to be in terms of who's going to be on who, if that's even going to matter in this case. You'd think, maybe size-wise, Jair would match up quite a bit with Olave, and then Rasul on Thomas. But, we'll see. But that's definitely going to be something to watch if you're looking at like position battles, position group battles. Jair and Chris Olave should be a fun one. Rasul, Thomas, whatever that matchups work out. But I want to see this Packers defense go out there and put some pressure on Derek Carr, for crying out loud. You got pressure on Fields. Last week against Atlanta, you got one total sack and it was a split sack against Desmond Ridder. Now, Atlanta's offensive line is better than the Bears. But you got to put some consistent pressure on Derek Carr. Don't let him sit back there for 4 seconds and try to find his guys. Don't let Jair and Rasul have to try to keep coverage for that long. Got to put some constant pressure. Collapse that pocket around Derek Carr. We know Derek Carr can throw some picks. We know that he could turn the ball over. Packers have been doing a good job of winning the turnover battle. Jordan Love hasn't thrown a pick. You got to continue to win that turnover battle. And I almost feel like Jordan Love's probably going to throw a pick in this game. I almost feel like he's due, and I hate to say that, but, a little bit better of a defense and such, but got to win the turnover battle. Give your offense, Packers offense, more opportunities at scoring the football. More opportunities, the better. And don't same opposite reasons for the Saints offense. Don't give them any more opportunities. Continue to win that turnover battle. But get that pressure on Carr. And when you look at this running game, no Alvin Kamara, it's probably no Jamal Williams. You look at the rushing attack from the Saints, their leading rusher is Taysom Hill. 70-some yards. Taysom Hill's going to be involved in some different packages, kind of a chess piece sort of thing out there. When he's out on the field, you've got to acknowledge, he's out there. And sometimes he's used as a decoy. Sometimes he's used for a big play possibility. Different things. He presents different things. He's a challenge. But this is an opportunity for this Packers defense, run defense specifically, to go out there and bounce back after getting absolutely embarrassed last week by the Atlanta Falcons. Second game in his career, Bijan Robinson showcased why he was a top 10 pick. Shredded. Absolutely shredded last week. There is absolutely no reason whatsoever that this Packers run defense should be shredded again this week. Nothing. No reason. They should shut that thing down. Don't give the Saints, whoever's going to be running the ball for the Saints in this game, don't give them any confidence that they can run against you. If the Saints go out there and they have a 100-yard rusher, assuming, Jamal's not playing and such, that's going to be embarrassing. That's going to be embarrassing. Go out there, bounce back, and make the Saints pass all the time. They're going to try to get the run going. Everybody tries to be balanced with the offense and this, that, setting up different plays and such. But there is absolutely no flipping reason why the Saints offense should have any success whatsoever running the football. They don't have any running backs left. Get the job done. Get it done. Bounce back from last week. Don't be embarrassed. Stop the run. You put more pressure on Carr. And just do a better job at setting the edge, too, for cry. I know Joe Barry talked about it yesterday and acknowledged that they were awful at setting the edge. And this has been a common theme, it seems like, for a while now. And I know, and this is, I hate to be thinking this, but I'm already envisioning certain plays or players maybe not respecting the run game for this Saints team, not setting the edge, getting a little aggressive, going after the quarterback because they want to go get Derek Carr and rack up the sacks. And then Edge is wide open. Delayed handoff, edge, something like that. I can already envision it happening a couple times, and I hate thinking that. Play sound, fundamental football. Do your job. Do your job. Packers can win this game. It's a tough defense, but they can win this game. There's no doubt they can do it. Their defense has to get off that field, has to get off on third downs. Packers offense, you have to win time of possession and come away with touchdowns. You get in the red zone, come away with touchdowns. Don't settle for field goals all the time. Saints have been low-scoring games here. I don't necessarily want to get in a kickoff or a field goal game. If you get in that red zone, get the touchdown. I know the Saints have only allowed one, but come on. That's not going to last all year. Odds are it's not, at least. You get in there, come away with touchdowns. And you get to the fourth quarter, close it out. If you're up heading into the fourth quarter, close it out. Get that run game established, going. Milk the clock. They can do this. They can win this game. Absolutely. It can be a little low scoring here. Might be some up and down moments. Might be some frustrating drives. I can see the Saints defense being a little bit of a thorn and like a pesky team. They're going to try to make things difficult on Jordan Love. They're going to try to, fluster him and get him uncomfortable back there. They're going to be aggressive, I think, with the young receivers. They're really going to try to make that offense beat them. They're going to put a lot of pressure on this Packers offense. While a team can do that, how do you take advantage of that too? Maybe that extra aggression from a defense. How do you take advantage of that? Your predictions? Again, you can hit me up with the text if you'd like, or tweet, Facebook, all that good stuff. I'm a little pumped up about this game. I don't know why, but maybe it's just because I was so kind of irritated after that Sunday performance. But I'm a little pumped. A little pumped. I want to see this offense go up against a solid defense and gain some confidence. Go out there and gain some confidence and move the ball at a consistent rate. I just feel like this is a game that if Matt LaFleur, and I know he's probably not even thinking this, it's all about the win. But if Matt LaFleur wants to put himself in the conversation as one of the best play callers in the game, this is an opportunity to do that. Your offensive line's banged up. Your top offensive players banged up. Your speedy big wide receivers banged up. You still got Jordan Love. You got a lot of your top receivers are all rookies and a second-year guy. This is an opportunity for him to kind of really establish himself as a play caller. That's not what he's thinking. That's not his goal. His goal is about winning the game. But this is an opportunity. And don't overlook the Saints and start looking ahead. Oh, I've got a short week and Detroit's coming in here. It's a big division game, no doubt. You can't afford to overlook New Orleans, though. It's a division. It's a conference game. Potentially could factor into tie-breaking scenarios way down the line here. Don't overlook the Saints. There should be no reason why they should be overlooking the Saints. I don't even know why I'm discussing that because they're 2-0. But I'm sure people are looking at the schedule like, oh yeah, short week, Detroit coming into Lambeau. Early division game. Or early big division game, excuse me. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll wrap up the first hour. Coming up in just a few minutes.
The Dan Kasper Show will be right back.
Are you ready to discover a hidden treasure trove of home improvement wonders while giving back to your community? Look no further than the Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity Restore. At the Restore, you'll find an ever-changing selection of quality furniture, appliances, building materials, and so much more, all at unbeatable prices. But here's the best part. Every purchase you make at the Restore supports their mission to build affordable homes for families in need right here in the Chippewa Valley. It's shopping with a purpose, making your house a home while making dreams come true for others. So whether you're looking for a stylish new piece for your living room or tackling a DIY project, make the Restore your first stop. Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity Restore, where every item tells a story and every purchase builds a brighter future. So get shopping at the Restore, located at 145 North Claremont Avenue in Eau Claire. And for more information, simply visit their website at cvh4h.org.
The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here and ready to help. Anyone can call or text 988 or chat via 988wisconsin.org to get connected to a trained Lifeline counselor. Trained counselors are here to support anyone experiencing a suicidal, mental health, or substance use crisis. You can also contact 988 if you are concerned about someone. 988 is confidential and free to all Wisconsin residents. 988 24/7. All text chat here to support you. Sponsored by Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Now at Staples, the prices of HP printers are dropping. Save on HP Smart Tank and enjoy even more savings on ink. Save on the HP Inkjet, perfect for high-quality pics. Save on HP laser printers, great for tackling high-volume document printing. Now through September 30th, save on Staples' entire selection of HP printers, some as low as $69.99. With HP printer price drops at Staples, now is the time to upgrade to HP, America's most trusted printer brand. See staples.com/HP for details.
Hi, it's Steve Mann. Have you heard the commercials for the Mark Patrick Stop Smoking seminars? And they said only $49.99 and it could work for you. So I thought, that's not even a week's worth of smoking. So I went. And guess what? It did work for me. You know, my friends and family are still amazed. I quit smoking. I didn't have cravings, anxiety, or weight gain. Listen, I don't know how it works, but I know it works because I'm living proof and it's 100% guaranteed. So what do you got to lose? I'll tell you what you got to lose. A very bad habit.
Join Mark Patrick's seminars and stop smoking now without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Early bird special only $49.99 guaranteed. Hypnosis designed to work without anxiety, irritability, or weight gain. Early bird special only $49.99 to become a non-smoker. That's right. Seminar Saturday, September 30th at the Best Western Plus Eau Claire Conference Center in Eau Claire. Stop smoking seminar at 2 p.m. Weight loss seminar at 11 a.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Winters can get long in Wisconsin. I'll bet by next March you'll be ready to take a break. Well, if you are, come on along. We're going to take a farm tour to Costa Rica and Panama, March 23rd through April 1st. We'll explore tropical treasures of unique wildlife in these two Central American countries. We'll explore Costa Rica first into the agricultural portion of our tour with a visit to the Doca Coffee Estate. And here we'll discover the importance of the coffee bean to Costa Rica's economy. We'll also make stops at the Cano Negro Wildlife Refuge and Arnal Volcano National Park. And we'll go visit the Pacific and the Atlantic Oceans as we sail through the Panama Canal. We'll take in the sights of Panama City, meet local agricultural experts in Panama as well as we find out about all that country's agriculture. Visit holidayvacations.com. The keyword is wax for more information and to watch a travel show, or call 888-557-1020 for a free brochure.
Hey everyone, Dan Kasper here from Sports Talk 105.1 and Midwest Family Eau Claire. I wanted to let you know about our final free marketing seminar opportunity of the year and share some information with you. But it's only for serious local businesses and organizations that want to grow in 2024. So I'm inviting you to join us for our Really Smart Marketing Half-Day Workshop on Wednesday, November 1st from 8:30 until noon at the Metropolis Resort and Conference Center in Eau Claire. You can register for your seat right now at MidwestFamilyEauClaire.com. At this workshop, you'll learn why your business or organization isn't growing as fast as it should, how to turn strangers into your best superhero promoters and fans, and how to achieve a return on your marketing investment in today's world of digital and traditional advertising. Space is limited for this free November 1st half-day workshop, so register now at MidwestFamilyEauClaire.com.
Stand by as we continue our dig for the truth and the toy at the bottom of the cereal box. Oh, got it. The Dan Kasper Show.
If you're not listening to the Man Cave podcast, we can't be friends. Not anymore, at least. If you're not following and subscribing to the Man Cave podcast, go ahead and do so. You should be doing so on your favorite podcasting platforms like Apple and Spotify, but now also up on YouTube. You can also get it at our website, sportstalk1051.com. We'll have a new episode up later on this morning. But if you're not listening, I don't know what to tell you. We can't be friends anymore. All right? We just can't. So go ahead, check it out. Listen every day. Listen every week to some episodes. You should try to get one up every day. I know we didn't put one up yesterday, but we will today. So been trying to catch up. We're missing the first couple days of the week here, but trying to catch up on some things. So we'll get another one up today and get one up every day next week too. So big thanks to everybody who has been tuning in too. Speaking of podcasts, we've got a new episode up with Rolling with the Golds podcast that you can also get at sportstalk1051.com or on your favorite podcasting platforms. Men's soccer coach Casey Holm joined us for the latest episode of the Rolling with the Golds podcast. So a lot of stuff happening. A lot of stuff going on right now. Love it. Absolutely love it. That Man Cave podcast brought to you by Toyson Ford and Hy-Vee, too. Our good friends from Hy-Vee. Speaking of Hy-Vee, listen up. Are you ready to save big on all your grocery needs? Why wouldn't you? Head down to Hy-Vee in Eau Claire where the deals are sizzling hot. Hy-Vee has fresh produce, top quality meats, pantry staples, and all your favorite brands under one roof. And don't forget about their amazing in-store bakery and deli. Need a quick bite to eat? Hy-Vee in Eau Claire has many different options to choose from at their food court as well. Hy-Vee is your one-stop shop for savings, quality, and convenience. All right, let's catch up on some texts on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line. G-Man already early this morning. Captain, way to go, Brewers. We will win the Central this weekend. On Wisconsin, the Pack will win. Packers win 24-17. Steve Bob's going Packers 24-20. Time of possession, convert third downs, get off the field on third downs last week. Defense was on the field almost the entire fourth quarter. Let the defense get their rest and eat. Go Pack, go. Living a dream, Jeff. Good morning, Dan. Keys to victory. Stop the run. Let Alexander do on the field what he is, a bump and run cover corner. Put him against their best wide receiver threats. 3, play smart on defense. Tackle, swarm the ball. 4, no dumb penalties. 5, trust your kicker. He can nail the 50-yard field goals. Living a dream. Go Pack, go. A lot of Go Pack, go chants already on our texting line. I like it. I love it. Keep them coming. Keep your thoughts coming, too, on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line. We'll keep the texting line up for the rest of the morning, for the rest of the show here. So, Packers practice yesterday, as we mentioned. Aaron Jones returned. I don't know. I mean, I'm just looking at it from the video clips. He looked like he was moving around pretty good. That doesn't necessarily mean anything, but I thought he looked fairly good in the videos and such. Hopefully he can be back out on the field, but I don't want Aaron Jones out on the field unless he's like 100%, close to 100%. With that hamstring, soft tissue injuries, I don't want it lingering throughout the season. Aaron Jones is such a key player for this entire team, not just the offense, but for the entire team. They need him out there, and they need him effective out there too. So if there's even a little bit of a lingering thing, I don't know if I'd necessarily want him on that field on game day. I want him close to ready to go as possible. But I know there's probably a little bit of an itch to get him out there too, especially from what we've seen with A.J. Dillon, maybe from the first couple of weeks. But yeah. The coordinators chatted a little bit yesterday after practice as well. That includes Rich Bisaccia, Adam Stenovich, Joe Barry, saying there were talking about last Sunday, there were a ton of opportunities where the game could have gone in different directions. But bottom line, it's my job to put those guys in proper position. About the running game, or I should say, we're talking about setting the edge and such. But I thought this was an interesting quote. He said, Barry says, setting the edge is a priority from a consistent standpoint. We did not set the edge, and we lost the edge. Stenovich says Rasheed Walker. I was talking about Rasheed Walker, backup tackle. Lacked focus early, but settled in well. He does not lack confidence at all. He believes himself, and you can see that. That coupled with good physicality, good mentality. He has a lot of tools. He's twitchy, he's strong, and he's confident, especially with the unknown about David Bakhtiari and his playing status. Rasheed Walker is going to be kind of an important figure, right? Kind of an important figure on that offensive line over there. Big time moment for him. I can't wait to ask Dr. Crow about this Bakhtiari thing, about the Bakhtiari situation. And it looks like, I think Royce Newman's going to be starting at guard, left guard. With Elton Jenkins going to be missing some time. And Royce Newman, if you go back to the preseason, you all know how I feel about Royce Newman at times. I think he's the definition of an inconsistent player. He's had so many opportunities. Rookie was a starter. I mean, you come in as a rookie as a starter, you've got an opportunity. You got to hold on to that job. Hold on to that job. And I think he's just been so inconsistent. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a little bit nervous about Royce Newman being the starter, filling in for Elton Jenkins. He's got the experience. That's an advantage, no doubt about it. But I'm going to be a little bit nervous. That left line was probably one of the best, if you could make a case for the best left side of that offensive line in the entire National Football League with Bakhtiari and Elton Jenkins, and now it's completely different. Completely different. And now you got Cam Jordan. You're going to be going up against Cam Jordan. Where's he going to line up? Right side? Might be coming on that blind side now on the left side. Got to pay attention to where he's going to be lined up. Hope they can hold it down over there on that blind side. Hope they can. That's going to be a key matchup in this game. And for as long, what it might be. Here's the thing. Would it surprise anybody at this point in time, knowing that Green Bay's got an early bye week 6? Short week against Detroit. Then you got Vegas. A little bit of a break there. Thursday night game against Detroit. Then you got a Monday night game against Vegas and such. But I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see like Jenkins and Bakhtiari together again until maybe week 7, end of October, when they go visit Denver. I don't know. It's just, kind of looking at the schedule here, it just seems like it. So injuries, man. So give me a key player. Give me a key player that you think is a player that's, got to go out there, have himself a game. You think is going to have a game. You think is primed to have a game. Go and give me that player. Hit me up with a text. Twitter at DANKASPER. Facebook.com, Kasper Sports. Video stream. You can comment on there if you'd like to. Wherever it's easier for you. Jeremy on the video stream. Morning, Dan. Good morning to yourself, sir. But give me a player. All right. My players, I'll just I'm picking Jair as one that has to have a game, because if he's going to be matched up quite a bit with Chris Olave or Thomas, he's got to take away half the field. Now, I've got confidence in Jair. It's not like I don't have confidence in Jair. It's just Jair's got to have a Jair game, if that makes any sense. Take away half that field, make it more difficult on Derek Carr. A.J. Dillon's an easy pick, especially if the unknown status of Aaron Jones. Those are a couple guys I would say got to have a game if I'm sticking with the players. Although I say Matt LaFleur, I would throw in that conversation of a person who has to have a really good game. But I feel like the run defense is going to be better in this game. They better be. There's no excuse they can't be. But if I had to narrow it down to one kind of sleeper player in this game, I'm going to go with, I'm trying to think of an offensive player here. They're going to be starting a rookie safety, Jordan Howden, who I really liked in the draft process. I thought maybe it could be a late pick for the Packers. I'm going to go Musgrave. And I'm going to go Musgrave. I know in the first 2 episodes of our Green and Gold tailgate show that airs Sunday morning, again, another episode coming up on Sunday morning, 10 a.m. for kickoff. When I've picked the players who are going to have a game, I went with rookies the first 2 weeks. I went with Jane Reed and Luke Musgrave. I might go Luke Musgrave again this week as a target over there. Because you look at, Marshawn Lattimore, young rookies, he's going to be on the boundaries and such. But maybe this is a game for Luke Musgrave. I'm going to go sleeper player, Luke Musgrave. How about that? That's mine. Rest of you can hit me up with yours. I'll get to those a little bit later on. All right, coming up next hour, we'll kick it off with Dr. Crow inside the training room, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Then right after that, we're going to transition into a little baseball talk. Brewers are on the verge of clinching a playoff spot. They could do it as early as tonight. Same with the Twins. Twins win. They win their division tonight. Things are starting to shape up in the postseason for baseball, starting to shape up in terms of who the teams are going to be. Brewers have a chance to do it tonight, at least potentially clinch a wild card spot. If they get a little bit of help, they could clinch the division as early as tonight. We got the 3 horses going at it for this series against Miami. The final road series for the Brewers in the regular season here. It's a big series, though, for Miami, too. So, they ain't going to stand down there. So, Burnsy's on the mound. Woody's going to be on the mound. Freddie's going to be on the mound for this series. But there's a very good chance when we're back on Monday, we're talking about the Brewers wrapping up the division, wrapping up the 3rd seed. And then how do they approach these final few games at home? Setting up that maybe that rotation, but also you got the Cubs for that final series. I don't want to look too far ahead, but just kind of looking at it with that Cubs series coming up, are the Brewers going to approach that where we don't want the Cubs in the postseason? We don't want to face the Cubs for the first round, so are they going to try to knock them out or what? I don't know. But first things first, take care of business, win your game, clinch that playoff spot. So we'll get to that. Plus, Badger football kickoff tonight against Purdue. We're going to talk about that. Going to preview that here a little bit. The Badgers begin their Big Ten portion of the schedule. 6 p.m. kickoff tonight. Got not a bad slate of college football games starting up tomorrow, too. So Brandon Berg's going to be joining us. We'll do some catching up on some of the local stuff. Big win for Mondovi over Regis last night, too, in football. Come from behind game last night for Mondovi. So we'll talk some local stuff. We got the Carpet City Florence, our local spotlight, and cream of the crop. I don't know if anybody's going to top my cream of the crop. Just going to tell you that. 1 hour in, 2 more to go.
WAYY Eau Claire, W286CK Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1 and 790 AM. Sports Talk 105.1 with the very latest local news.
Well, good morning. Here's what we're learning today. We'll start in Cadott, where they consider a clinic. The Village of Cadott is considering buying the old Marshfield Clinic building. Cadott Police Department and the Village Board will hold 2 public listening sessions on a potential purchase, with the idea being to use the old Marshfield Clinic on Highway 27 there for a new village clerk and police department office building. There would also be talk of adding a new library to the old clinic. On the political stage, a handful of Republican lawmakers want to start the impeachment process against Wisconsin's elections chief. 5 state reps yesterday filed articles of impeachment against Megan Wolf for her time as administrator on the Wisconsin Elections Commission. Remains to be seen just how far that will go. Assembly Speaker Robin Voss would have to send the impeachment proposal to a committee. He's not yet done that. Well, from impeachment to apples, going to hop across the border. University of Minnesota is introducing a new kind of apple to the world. Has a crisp, juicy texture, kind of like a Honey Crisp, but more tropical. The apple breeding program at U of M has actually been around for more than a century, and this is their 29th variety of apple. You want to buy that? It'll be under the name Kudos in the next few years. And you probably know the program's most famous apple, the Honey Crisp, now was developed in 1960. Looking into headlines that involve the state level, Governor Tony Evers calls it ridiculous as Assembly Speaker Robin Voss has threatened to block UW system pay raises unless the UW cuts $32 million from DEI. That's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion programs. He's talking bees and bonnets.
If for some reason he's got to be in his bonnet around the issue of DEI, for God's sakes, you look at any major industry, even smaller industries in the state of Wisconsin, they care about diversity and equity and inclusiveness.
Now, UW system raises were included in the most recent state budget, but must still be approved by a committee of legislative leaders co-chaired by Voss. And see you next time in South Dakota. Add another state to the map for Quick Trip Company yesterday, opening its first store in South Dakota. The new store is in Brandon, which is in the southeast corner of the state. Quick Trip says plans to open 5 more stores in South Dakota over the next several months. And the Brew Crew held St. Louis Cardinals to just 6 hits during that 6-0 win at Busch Stadium. Probably feeling pretty good about that if you're a Brewers fan. What does Wade have to say?
Nothing's done until it's done. And I think we've done a good job in this clubhouse keeping it that way. And guys are still, I don't know the word to use, but we're still hungry to get to that so we can, get that division and move on from there.
And, people ask me, what's it like to work with Kasper every day? And
I don't know the word to use.
Lucky. For Sports Talk 105.1. I'm Morgan McCarthy.
Starting off mostly in the 50s and 60s this morning, pretty similar to the last few mornings, but we'll have some intervals of clouds and sun and possibly a few chances at some showers later on this afternoon. Tomorrow brings a few more chances at some showers and a few rumbles of thunder as well, with highs in the upper 70s and low 80s before we start to cool things down on Sunday as highs remain in the low 70s. I'm 13 First Alert meteorologist Mike D'Andrea.
So where are we on a new farm bill? Not close. Let's take a look at that news and others as we look at food and farm news this morning on Sports Talk 105.1 and AM 790. The 2023 farm bill is due at the end of this month, but we all know that's not going to happen. So where is Congress right now with the new bill? The latest news out of Washington seems to indicate that the Senate will. Senate Ag Committee Chairman Debbie Stabenow of Michigan made that claim because she said the House is more focused on government funding legislation. Stabenow also said that because of a complicated set of issues like no new funds for a new farm bill, she doesn't expect the bill to come out of the Senate even before December. On the House side, Ag Committee Chair Congressman Glenn Thompson of Pennsylvania said there's a lot of bipartisan support for a new bill in his committee and in the House, but it's not going to get done for a while. He told an audience recently that the functional deadline for most of the farm bill anyway is December 31st. Organic dairy farmers going to get more federal help. Originally, the USDA provided $15 million to organic producers to help them handle market fluctuations, higher input and transportation costs, unstable organic feed supplies, and falling market prices. And earlier this week, USDA officials say they are kicking in another $5 million through the Organic Dairy Marketing Assistance Program to help producers get through. That money will go to organic producers already involved in the program for organic milk produced from cows, goats, and sheep. And the gates are opening as we speak. The little village of Warrens is coming alive as it's the 50th annual Warrens Cranberry Festival that opens at 7 o'clock this morning. And this year's event will feature over 800 crafters, 80 food vendors, and a Sunday parade featuring Miss America, who is from Wisconsin. The festival will run through Sunday evening. Get out and enjoy it. Let's look at some of our food and farm news this morning on Sports Talk 105.1 and AM 790. I'm Bob Bosold.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the medium hot coffee or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Crank it up. Hey! Are you ready to take? Get up! Yeah! He's on his way. He's our man. The man And now, the Dan Kasper Show.
All right, second hour kicking off on this Friday morning, September 22nd. Big thanks for tuning in, wherever, however you may be tuning in. We're going to get to some baseball talk coming up here. Brewers on the verge of clinching playoff spot. Twins could do the same thing, clinching a division with a win tonight. So things are starting to kind of come together in terms of the baseball postseason picture. We got college football to talk about, and of course, we'll get back to some more NFL chat as well. But we kick off this hour, as we usually do on Friday mornings, talking to our man, Dr. Crow.
Paging Dr. Crow. Breaking down the latest in sports injuries. It's time for Inside the Training Room with Dr. Crow. On the Dan Kasper Show.
All right, Dr. Crow, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, joining us for a little Inside the Training Room. And boy, oh boy, Austin, we got a few things to catch up on here, man. So first things first, guy we've talked a lot about over the last couple of years, David Bakhtiari, missing the game last week. Matt LaFleur, head coach Matt LaFleur, saying his knee was swelling up. So it sounds like that fluid potentially is returning to his knee, doesn't it, Austin?
Yeah, that could be aspiration number, 300 or something?
Yeah, it's ridiculous right now. I mean, at this point, it's not going to stop, is it? I mean, it's if it's something he's been going on for the last couple of years, it's not going to stop if he continues to play, I would imagine.
I think you're almost certainly correct on that, yeah.
So, I mean, is it something where, do you think this is something that was even going on last year? I know he missed some time last year too, but you never really heard about, fluid building up as much. But do you think this is something that he's been dealing with even in the last year or so?
Yeah, I mean, I think when usually it's after a reconstruction like this and they have persistent effusions, meaning fluid on the knee. We've talked about this in the past, but it always brings up certain kind of alarm bells in our head. So one of them is going to be there's something wrong with your reconstruction. So there's persistent instability in the knee. And it doesn't sound like that's the case. Otherwise, they'd talk about doing a revision reconstruction. And then the other thing is going to be cartilage stuff. And that's what we've really hammered on in the past. And I think for a lot of athletes, unfortunately, that's kind of the kiss of death. And, we have a lot of research going on in that field and ways that we can try to regenerate, regrow, create brand new cartilage. And it just, there's things that work well, but nothing's a home run yet. And that's just kind of the holy grail. And so when you see a guy like this who had swelling right away, I mean, a couple of years ago that we talked about this, that blog he had talked about, or maybe he was in an interview and he said he had his knee aspirated, like 20 times or something.
Yeah.
It was some huge number. When you look at that, it just, that suggests to me that's having troubles from the get-go. Now, do I think that it was there, went away and came back? No, I suspect it's been there all along. So I think you're correct. It's probably been something he's battling, but there are times where it'll flare up more than others, and you can kind of calm the knee down with various things that you can do. But yeah, I really strongly suspect this is a significant cartilage injury in his knee, and it's something that is going to plague him till the end of his career, which I'm not saying it's going to be sooner than we think, but it wouldn't shock me when knees start doing this kind of downward spiral. Sometimes it's just a knee that just can't keep going on like that.
So this might be kind of a weird question, but what exactly is that fluid in his knee? You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, what exactly is that, or where is it coming from, essentially?
Yeah. So what it is when you have whatever is irritating knee, so whether it's instability, whether it's a meniscus tear, whether it's a cartilage injury, those type of things that cause more of a chronic amount of quote unquote fluid, it's just simply synovial fluid. So the joint, the normal lubricating fluid in the knee, your knee feels irritation, it responds by making more fluid. So it's the body's natural response. And so that is just all that is extra synovial fluid inside the knee. So when we aspirate a knee or draw fluid off, it comes back as this, clear, kind of yellowy color fluid. And that's just the normal synovial fluid. So that's really all it is. It's the knee's natural response to there's something going on, giving off inflammatory cytokines, or basically these molecules that signal something's going on, and the body responds that way.
Gotcha. All right. Moving on to his BFF, Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if you've had a chance to look into the healing effects of dolphins and then mating sounds or anything like that. But we heard a lot about his procedure. About was it a bridge procedure where there's some talk that he potentially could come back? At the like a postseason such. But can you explain a little bit what this time? I'll tell you what, Austin. I was trying to look it up and I was looking at videos and all this sort of stuff. And I was even confused on there too. So, but it sounds like it was something similar to, I guess he's your new running back, Cam Akers, had with his Achilles.
Yeah. So it's not really that brand new of a technique. It's been around for a while, truthfully, but it's really, I mean, the company who sells it's a company called Arthrex, and they make good products. But I'm sure they are just laughing all the way to the bank with the amount of publicity they've gotten over this. Free publicity of videos, people talking about it. So generally speaking, when we repair an Achilles, what we'll do is we'll basically tie very big, strong sutures to each stump of the tendon that's torn, and then we tie it together. There's different ways that you can augment that with certain suture configurations. This is a slightly different technique where, in addition to the suture that's going between the two, the distal or bottom part is always smaller, and that comes off the calcaneus or the heel bone. So the way that they augment or strengthen this repair is they put anchors into the calcaneus. And so when you have basically the pull of the Achilles, some of it's borne by the actual tendon interface, but some of it's also shared by the anchors in the calcaneus. So it does offload it. And so in theory, that significantly strengthens your repair. And I wouldn't say in theory, I'm sure it does. Do I think I'd still want an athlete coming back at 3 and 4 months after this? Ooh, I'd be pretty hard pressed, because Cam Akers came back at, I think it was just over 6 months.
Right.
So it would even be more accelerated. Now, of course, a running back and a quarterback absolutely do have different stresses put on their body, but quarterbacks have to run sometimes, right? You can't just sit in the pocket all day long. Unless you're going to really truly have them be one dimensional. But the idea behind it is that instead of suture to suture, you have suture to suture plus anchors in the heel bone that are augmenting or strengthening the repair. So yeah, it'll probably accelerate things a little bit because you feel a little more confident that first big push off, if you're going to kind of quote unquote overload that tendon, that those anchors will kind of back it up. But the thing is, there's no real big studies or data to suggest that you can get an athlete back a lot sooner than that. Maybe they're underway right now, but I have not seen data to suggest that. So I would be hard pressed if I did that from one of my athletes to say, yep, you can come back at 3 months or 4 months. But who knows? I guess time will tell. I don't think he will be. But it'd be interesting to be proven wrong and see how it plays out.
Yeah. And I don't know if he'd want to come back that quick behind that offensive line either. Over there too, so
that's right. Well, he only lasted 4 plays last time.
Right, exactly. One major injury from this past weekend was with the Browns and Nick Chubb. He suffered MCL, PCL, LCL, it looked like he suffered all that. And I saw that there was some talk about like 2 surgeries he was going to have on there. They're talking potentially career threatening. I don't know if you saw the video, but it did
absolutely.
not. Yeah, it did not look good. Over there, would you imagine there's probably multiple ligaments torn in that thing?
100%. I would bet my bottom dollar. So with an injury like that, you're at minimum talking about a 2 to 3 ligament injury. So and what really makes things worse is that this is the same knee he had a previous. We use the term multi-ligament knee injury. So he's already had a multi-ligament knee injury on that. So he underwent a major reconstruction to get back to where he was, which was playing at an elite level, which is an awesome story. A second multi-ligament knee injury, I would tell you, I don't know if an athlete's ever come back from that. I don't know of any. So to undergo 2 multi-ligament knee injuries in the same knee, this is 100% career threatening. And so the 2 surgeries could be a couple different things. One is when we reconstruct knees, we drill tunnels. So we make holes in the bone, we put grafts through, secure them down. When he tears it, you basically need to reuse the tunnel, but the tunnels don't always stay exactly like you had them before. We call it tunnel dilation, or there's kind of osteolysis around it, so the tunnel becomes a little bigger. So often you have to go back and graft the tunnels and then do another surgery after that. So it could be a staged procedure where they graft the tunnels and come back and redo it. or sometimes when there's really severe injury to the outer part of the knee. Although it was hard to tell with the angle which way the knee bent fully. I mean, there's clear massive hyperextension, but it was hard to say if the knee kind of bent in or out with that, at least in the angle that I saw. So if it was a severe posterolateral corner injury, sometimes we'll fix the side first and then come back and do the what we call the cruciate, so the ACL and PCL later. But those are both in play. But yeah, I mean, that is a devastating knee injury. I mean, really, those kind of injuries are functionally like a knee dislocation. So now you're talking about concern for nerve injury, artery injury. There certainly hasn't been any talk of that, and I'm sure there would have been if it happened. So he dodged that bullet. But I mean, if you think about if you watch that in full speed and then go back and watch it in slow mo, you think about how violent that injury is to that knee. The knee just goes from straight to, I don't know, 45, 50 degrees off angle. I mean, like in a heartbeat. If you think of the tension that puts on the structures in the knee, I mean, it is a bad injury. So, I mean, we wish him the best, and I'm sure he's in excellent hands. But it will be a daunting task to come back from a second multi-ligament knee injury. That would be an impressive feat.
Man alive. Yeah, it did not look good. So, last question here for you, Austin. So, going to baseball, Ohtani. So I found it curious where they said he underwent a, quote, procedure for his elbow, but they also said that in the statement that they, quote, reinforced the healthy ligament in place. Can you kind of decipher what exactly they mean by that? Because we all figured, was it another Tommy John surgery? It almost makes it sound like it's not, or could it be? And it's just a play on words sort of thing there.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it was not a full Tommy John or AKA UCL reconstruction. So this goes back to, if you remember Brock Purdy's injury to his elbow.
Yep.
They talked about doing that internal brace, which is another Arthrex product. Man, they're getting all the publicity.
Right.
It's another Arthrex product where you basically put an anchor on each side and you put a strong piece of suture between there. So it's called an internal brace. So it basically reinforces, exactly like I said, it reinforces the ligament. So clearly he didn't have a full tear. It clearly was a partial tear, because you wouldn't do the sutures. Anchor and suture, although they can be as strong as heck, nothing will withstand stress forever. Eventually, any man-made material will stress to the point of fatigue. So either the suture breaks or the anchor pulls out. So you need to have some healthy tissue there. So if he has a partial injury to that UCL, you put the internal brace, it strengthens and augments it, it heals on its own. Ta-da, there now you have a functional UCL again. So without them saying explicitly, I'm going to almost guarantee it was an internal brace procedure to augment that ligament, and hopefully it plays. But I do believe they also came out and said he won't be pitching for next season.
Right.
I don't know if you saw that same report. So it's going to be batting only, which is vastly different when it comes to stressors on the elbow. I mean, really, a lot of UCL injuries we don't reconstruct. I mean, we have football players come in with a full UCL tear. As long as they're not a thrower, it's like you'll be fine. It really, the elbow can function pretty well. So for him to play even in the field potentially, and batting, certainly he can do that. But pitching, just the forces, again, I mean, you watch a slow-mo pitch, it is really, you're like, wow, the forces that go through those shoulders and elbows is just tremendous.
Absolutely. He's Dr. Crow, Triple Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for our Inside the Training Room. A lot of stuff going on, man. So we appreciate you explaining it for us and breaking it all down, man. There's a lot going on right now.
That's football season for you.
That's true. Well, you have a good weekend, buddy, and we'll catch up with you again soon. Okay, sir?
All right. Take care.
You got it. Dr. Crow bringing it as he always does here, breaking everything down for us this morning. We'll take a quick break. Brandon Berg, he'll be joining us. We'll catch up on some local stuff. And let's talk some baseball. Perhaps a clinch later on tonight. So my wife and I wanted to update our flooring in the basement. The tile was coming up and it wasn't put in properly by the previous owners to begin with. And the carpet down there was old and worn out. We wanted our floors to have a cabin floor look. So we visited Carpet City Flooring Center and they helped us pick the perfect tile that would function the best in our space and give us that cabin look feel. Then they helped us match it up with the perfect looking carpet. Carpet City Flooring Center completely transformed our space. The tile looks amazing and the carpet matches it perfectly. It's like a completely brand new room. And they paid attention to the smallest details, even adding new trim to places that didn't even have any trim to begin with. So if you're looking to transform your room with some new floors, seriously, Carpet City Flooring Center is the only place you need to visit. Check them out today and know that you are in good hands with all of your flooring projects with Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire.
Thinning hair is normal, but it doesn't have to be your fate.
Once I started taking Nutrafol, I could visibly see my hair get thicker. It made my hair stronger.
Nutrafol, the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand.
Nutrafol has taken me back to the hair I was meant to have.
You've got nothing to lose and everything to grow. Join the 1 million people growing at Nutrafol.com. That's Nutrafol.com.
Want the latest insight and analysis on your favorite green and gold football team? Check out the Green and Gold Chalk Talk video series hosted by Dan Kasper with new episodes each week on YouTube.
Let's jump right into it. We've got Mr. Brandon Berg joining us here this morning. You having issues with the headphones again, man?
They don't work.
Why don't they work now? Jeez. Okay, we'll switch it up here later for you.
So that would
high quality equipment.
I think that qualifies as issues.
Yeah, it is issues. All right, we'll figure it out here. But before we get to a little baseball talk, just a quick recap or rundown of some of the local stuff. Mentioned it earlier, but Mondovi with a big win last night against Regis, fourth quarter comeback, it looked like. So that's a big win in conference play.
Yep, a good bounce back for them after a tough loss last week to Neilsville Granton. So that the top of the Clover Belt Conference continues to be a little bit crazy. You got Neilsville Granton right now, who's the only team left that's unbeaten in conference play. But now they host Stanley Boyd tonight, who's got one loss. Now you got Regis with one. Or I'm sorry, Regis is unbeaten. Or yeah, no, even you got Regis and Mondovi also with one loss.
Yep.
It is going to be crazy up there because you still got
finish.
you still got some games left. You still got Regis playing Neilsville. You still got Stanley Boyd playing Regis. You mentioned that you got Stanley Boyd playing Neilsville Granton. So it's
right.
A lot of crossover yet between those four teams.
Absolutely. Big Rivers. How's that kind of shaping up right now? What's on the docket for some of these teams?
Well, tonight a couple games of note. First of all, I would say Chippewa Falls and New Richmond. Chippewa Falls picked up a win over Eau Claire North last week.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got New Richmond and Hudson. They're the two teams unbeaten in conference play at the top of the conference, with New Richmond being unbeaten overall as well. So that'll be an interesting matchup. I'll be there.
And Hudson's playing Memorial, I believe.
Hudson's playing Memorial. Hudson picked up a big win over Menominee last week. Fell behind early, but it was rallied from there. And you've got those games coming up. I would say those are probably the two big ones right now.
Are we in week 5, 6?
Week 6.
So is there playoff clinching scenarios possible?
Yes. I mean, anyone like those teams I mentioned, basically if you're unbeaten in conference play right now and you win, you're going to clinch because you would be guaranteed a winning record in conference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, man, I can't believe we're already talking about that, dude. So
it comes and goes very fast.
Oh, so you're going to be, you said, at the Chi High New Richmond game tonight. So any other ones maybe outside the, Big Rivers that's kind of intriguing maybe for you?
I think one off note that I thought, off the top of my head would be, and little bit of a drive, but still relevant to this area, would be Bloomer and Cumberland.
Okay.
Those are two teams that kind of had some struggles in non-conference play, but they've put it together pretty well during the, so far in the first half of conference play. So, Cumberland's one of the teams, I believe they're tied with Cameron up top in the conference and play, and not too far away for Bloomer as well. So I think that's one to keep an eye on.
All right. So got 8-man. Is that in a game? McDonald in action?
McDonald's in action tomorrow.
Okay.
They got a matinee game with Tri playing at home tonight. So they're at a matinee game tomorrow. Both Tri and McDonald's homecoming this week. So a very busy week.
Yes.
But McDonald faces off against Cornell.
Okay.
Big one, pretty close here, is Gilman hosting Owen Withy.
Okay.
So that's the big one, I would say, in the Central Wisconsin East Conference.
Okay.
Gilman unbeaten, the top-ranked team in state, Owen Withy with one loss, which is a close loss to McDonald.
Gotcha. So got some good football action. I know golf is starting to kind of wrap up. It's regular season stuff here. I know you were catching some of it a couple days ago, or yesterday, was it?
Yesterday,
Colfax and Elk Mound over there too. So, but we got to be getting close to some postseason action.
That's next week. You mentioned Colfax Elk Mound won the Clover Croix Conference Championship yesterday. Hudson put a wrap on the Big Rivers Championship yesterday at Mill Run.
Okay.
Navigating the Justice Cleveland course.
Do you think he gave them any tips? I'm just kidding. You can't.
Well, I know I've golfed with him there enough to know that.
You don't want his tips, right?
I know there's certain places on the course where he would give you a tip not to do what he does.
Nice.
But
oh man, so
girls golf regionals are next week. Actually, pretty close to home. Stanley Boyd hosts a D2 regional next Wednesday at Whispering Pines and Cadott.
Okay.
Eau Claire North and Memorial actually host D1 regionals and sectionals. So their regionals are at Lake Hallie and sectionals at Wild Ridge.
Nice. All
so
right.
sticking close to the area there.
Good to see the area well represented with some, exposing some of their good golf courses out there.
Yes.
So, I know you've done a lot too, covering some cross country coming up in the last few days here too. McDonald, I know you did. Was it Bloomer? You kind of chatted about a little bit too. So I know what next month is like usually state.
Usually it's near the end of next month, but you're kind of starting to hit the second half of the regular season. Conference meets are usually that second Saturday in October, so less than a month away.
Mm-hmm.
I think sectionals right now are about a month away. So, but you've got teams that are kind of starting to get their ducks in their row, so to speak. Cross country is one of those sports where it's all about peaking at the right time and trying to drop time, and ideally the weather cooperates and you're allowed to do that because you're not going to get very many 90-degree days in October. But I'll never say never because it's Wisconsin,
right?
But next Tuesday Chippewa Falls is hosting their annual invite at Lake Wissota.
Okay.
So once you get a little bit into October, I know Eau Claire Memorial always has an invite that first Saturday of October at South Middle School.
Okay.
Which is always a fun course too.
Yeah. No, if you haven't had a chance to check out some of the stories, I know Brandon did a few days ago of Bloomer with the triplets.
Yes.
Is it the
Hartman
triplets?
Yep. Aaliyah, Briella, and Ciara.
All right. And they're all on the cross country team?
They're all on the and actually Bloomer won again yesterday. They went to Barron and swept the boys and girls team titles.
Nice.
So they are
quite the team.
It is. And the boys team has kind of been that way the last few years. They've had this good group of runners, and this year the girls team had kind of this infusion of younger talent. Obviously, part of that is the Hartman triplets, but also some other younger runners as well, kind of doing their part too. And this is shaping up to potentially be a banner year for that program.
Yeah. It sounds like you were at a pretty epic volleyball match last night too.
I was.
State ranked match.
McDonald and Bloomer at McDonald, 2 state ranked teams. McDonald in D3, Bloomer in D2. A 5-set match as they have been the last few years when these two teams have played. And McDonald ultimately came from behind and pulled out a win in 5 sets over Bloomer in a really good matchup. Like I said, between two really good teams, and it had the feel of a sectional type game with the environment, which the coaches always enjoy because it just kind of gets you ready for that. The sooner you see and experience those things, the more prepared you are when they're going to come your way next month.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So other stuff I know we had I saw somewhere, was it a Menominee native won the national powerlifting title over there too? Yeah, here it is, Maria Bolden. I hope I pronounced the name right over there too. So shout out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, I'm choking up. You're making me choke up now.
I haven't even done anything.
Brandon over here. But Blue Gold's action. You got, I know we got tennis going on, men's golf's going on, men's soccer also going to be going on here as well. Again, you can check out the entire schedule at bluegolds.com. So, all right, so we'll get to the Carpet City Flooring Center local spotlight coming up here in just a little bit, Brandon. But tonight, what?
That was just me saying.
Oh,
but
I thought you were pausing me for
with emphasis as I point with my index finger.
Could it happen tonight? Could the Brewers clinch either a wild card or a division champion? It's kind of weird because for the longest time it was like the wild card to clinch a wild card, at least a wild card spot, was like one game below, a division. But because it's Miami now, so it's like, well, you beat Miami, you've at least clinched a playoff spot. You could clinch the division if the Cubs were to lose too. So
at this point, honestly, I think the whole clinching the playoff spot thing nobody cares about because it's so close to the numbers are right next to each other for divisions. So people are saying, man, and I'm assuming that would be the case with the Brewers too. Like, if they clinch the playoff berth but not a wild card, they probably wouldn't celebrate that. I wouldn't think because you can literally just do it. I mean, I guess don't get me wrong. I guess you could have parties on back-to-back days if you want to, but
yeah. Bigger fish to fry,
exactly.
If you will.
Hey-oh.
Thank you.
I see what you did there. Yeah. And on a Friday, no less?
Yeah, double whammy, baby.
Double whammy.
Friday fish fry, Brewers edition. Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this. I don't, before we kind of do a little deep dive or big deep dive, I mean, they got their 3 horses on the mound. I would expect them to at least win one of those games. But Miami's got a lot to play for, too. Kind of looking bigger picture here, Brandon. We're going to assume they're going to be in, right? I don't think that's a bold take. I don't think that's a hot take. They're going to be in the postseason. Where's your confidence level with this team? Because this will be the 5th time that the Brewers will be in the postseason in the last 6 years, which is unheard of in Brewers history because before, was it 2018? They only made it 4 total times. So in our lifetime, Brandon, we've seen like the majority of Brewers appearances, if you count 2008 on there too, right? You and I have seen it. We're youngsters, but we've seen it. But of the 5 of those teams, including this one, where's your confidence level with this team? Because, yes, they made the postseason, but they've only won one series too, and that was at 18 against Colorado when they won. They swept, and they took Game 7 to the Dodgers. But they haven't won one since, against Colorado. So when you look at those teams and you look at the other, where's your confidence? And I guess, I'm comparing 18 to it with this team to those other teams because I feel like they're very different. Whereas at 18 was very offensive heavy. Brandon Woodruff was still kind of coming into his own. Yoli Chassin was your opening day starter. Maybe your number 1 guy. I think he started game 163 when you were there, right?
Yes, he did.
This year, I think you'd say it's more about the pitching. Although 18 had a great back end bullpen too. Which team would you have more confidence or the most confidence in?
Probably 2018, just because I think you look at Burns, Woodruff, and Peralta were all on that 2018 team, but they weren't obviously what they are now.
Mm-hmm.
That one, it seemed like the pitching staff, and you can do this more in the postseason. It was kind of almost held together with like tape and bubble gum.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously we remember the Wade Miley quote unquote start against the Dodgers, and just they were able to kind of set things up, pitching wise with Wade Miley and Yuli Chassin. I think Gio Gonzalez started a game in there. Like,
oh gosh, I forgot about Gio Gonzalez
but it's a little,
too. Yeah,
obviously that's a little bit different. That team you didn't really worry about the offense necessarily.
Didn't Zimmerman pitch? No,
no. Jared Zimmerman was after that.
Oh, I remember the game that they played against Zimmerman. They just kind of like went off on him. I think offensively, that was Yelich's like incredible tear
right
at the end there. Okay,
right. This one, like obviously the offense has shown some good signs here in the second half, especially lately. I think at this point that's just something that's always going to be, I know for me, on the back of my mind, like okay, but can you just don't want to see a repeat of 2021 where they don't score.
Right.
You know, they
That
win
Brave
game.
series,
That Brave
yeah.
series where they won game 1 like 2-1, I think.
Yep.
And then they really didn't score much after that, and everything was just kind of a grind.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you like to believe that the offense is a little bit more set up there or here than there, but you know, we won't know until we get there.
Mm-hmm. Now, I went through the numbers yesterday. I'm assuming they're better after the 6-0 win yesterday too. But in the month of September, this is the best the offense has been all year in terms of average, OPS, all that stuff out there. We talk about momentum heading into the postseason too. I mean, it sure seems like the Brewers have that momentum. I know a lot can change here, especially, you know, it's going to be fascinating. We'll get to this in a little bit here if they clinch this weekend, and then how do they prepare for the final week here, especially if the Cubs need to win to get in. Do the Brewers try to knock them out so they don't have to play them? You know, that sort of stuff on there. But you look at this offense, Contreras has just been Mr. Consistent. Mark Canha has been unbelievable since he was acquired. Tyrone Taylor's hot right now. They're getting this done without Christian Yelich at this point. Would you say that the Brewers are playing their best baseball at the perfect time right now?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, right now, I mean, we could talk about this in a week, and if they suddenly, you know, lose 4 of 6, then, you know, the sky might be falling. But, you know, right now, yeah, they're, you know, you want to be doing your best right now, because that's, you know, trying to take that momentum into the postseason. They're doing it. That's, you know, it's going in all 3 phases, because normally when you're playing well, it's because you're doing it, you know, you're doing a lot of things right. You're not going to win, you know, 8 of 10, 12 of 14, whatever, by, you know, hitting the ball, but not being able to pitch or field. Like, it takes everything working together. It takes complementary baseball. And right now, that's what this team's doing.
Can they, with the, because the Dodgers are going through some issues with their pitching staff right now. I know I'm getting a little too far ahead, but I'm excited with this team now. It's like it kind of just reignited a fire a little bit, I think. Can they beat the Dodgers?
They can, yeah.
Would you pick them to beat the Dodgers?
I would have to see how the next week and a half goes.
Okay. Cop out.
Yeah, it is. But, I mean, yeah, you're right. The starting pitching is obviously, you know, in theory, you know, depending on how that series matches up, because we don't know with, you know, the potential playoff first round game or matchup. But, you know, obviously a lot of things that's going to be in everybody's mind is that Dodgers series, you know, that last Dodgers series where, I mean, it was pretty much worst case scenario. Everything that could go wrong, that series did go wrong for the Brewers. And that was kind of honestly where everything turned around for them.
I was going to ask, was that kind of a turning point?
Yeah,
too?
I won't say it was the low point of the year, because you know, it was just a really, like, yeah, I can remember not just my vibe, but the vibe of, you know, other people coming out of that series was kind of like, oh, like, okay, this team is, you know, this ain't, this ain't it. Like, they can't beat the Dodgers, and what, you know, and then it's gone up since then.
Yeah. I mean, I know they lost that series to the Cubs there, but there's been more good than bad.
Right. They haven't lost very many series.
Right. So, yeah. So let's assume I feel like on Monday, Brandon, when I come in Monday morning, I'm hoping to talk about a Packers win, and I'm hoping to be talking about a Badgers win, and I'm also hoping to be talking about a division championship for the Brewers. If that were to happen, they can't improve.
No, you're going to be the 3 seed.
You're going to be the 3. You've still got 3 games against the Cardinals, and you still got 3 games against the Cubs. Now, I would imagine the Brewers are going to want to be in that situation so they can set up their rotation, maybe even give some guys a little bit of time, maybe a little bit of work. But the last thing you want to do, I would imagine, if you have nothing really to play for, Brandon, is to throw Corbin Burns out there for 7-8 innings, or Brandon Woodruff or Freddie Peralta, right? But what happens? What would you do if you're Craig Counsell in this situation? You go into next weekend series with the Cubs. If the Cubs have to like win a game or win 2 games and they get the 6th seed, how do you plan for that? Do you try to plan for it? You know what? I'm going to throw my guys out there like it's a must-win game for us.
You know, if you look at the projected pitching rotation right now, I don't think you have to do very much. Like, I don't think you change much there, because you want to make sure that, you know, you're going Burns, Woodruff, Peralta for possibly those 3 playoff games. And season ends a week from Sunday, so it ends on October 1st. That 3-game wild card round series is the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. So you got 1 day off in between. I think pitching wise, you set that up. Like the rest of the bullpen wise, like I would probably stay away from the likes of like Williams and, you know, Pyomps and Uribe the best you can, because remember, there's only so many people in the bullpen. Unlike that Sunday, you know, maybe give them 2 days before. But, you know, baseball is such a rhythm and timing game that you can't, kind of do what the NFL does and just, bench everybody the last week. You can't do it. You can't do it. Yeah. Like, you clinch this weekend in Miami, you still roll out your starting lineup, batting lineups. Maybe that Sunday you give, some guys a day off. Maybe you give, William Contreras a day off because, he's been either catching or DHing pretty much every day.
Right.
And the Brewers have a day off Monday, so it helps a little bit, this upcoming Monday. They won't play the next 2 Mondays.
Right.
But I don't think you take the foot off the gas too much because you don't necessarily have to. It'd be one thing if you didn't have a day off between the regular season finale on the 1st and then say the playoffs started on the 2nd, but you have a day off in there. That's, that's going to be good for hitters.
Right.
It's going to be good to kind of help reset your bullpen a little bit. I just think and not so much because you don't necessarily want to play the Cubs, although, I'm sure the Brewers would love to knock the Cubs out of the playoffs, but because
there'd be a lot of Cubs fans at AmFam Field, I would imagine, too.
Yeah, could be. But you also want to just keep everybody clicking. When it's clicking, you just want to keep everybody going. You can be a little bit more, aggressive with maybe giving, a guy, a day off that third, like one of those final 6 games, maybe an extra day off, but not 2-3 days off. You can't do that. That's, especially for a team playing as well as you can. I truly believe in 2018, one of the reasons the Brewers made the run they did is because they shouldn't have any time to take a day off.
Right.
They were playing. Like that's baseball. Baseball is an everyday game.
Yep.
So I just don't think you can, on the hitting side, take much time off. Pitching wise, it kind of seems like it's going to work out. Now, if you want to, say Corbin Burns starts today, stay with that day off in there. He starts like, that next Wednesday.
I'm trying to do the math here too.
That Wednesday or that next Thursday.
Yep.
Say you want to, you can still give him that day off or that day in there. And maybe if you want to, you don't go have Corbin Burns go 100 pitches. Maybe you have him go 80 pitches or 75 pitches if it's working, and just say, you know what, we're going to take it a little easy here because we're going to, use that as a little bit more of a breather before you go into the postseason.
Right.
Because you want to make sure he's starting that night, that Tuesday the 3rd. So something like that, I wouldn't have a problem with as far as the starters go. You won't necessarily have to do that with like Wade Miley or Adrian Hauser if Colin Ray gets a start in that Cubs series, something like that. Those guys you could go because they wouldn't be pitching until the earliest a potential series that next weekend.
Right.
So that would be plenty of time in there.
How big of a benefit is it to have a guy like Wade Miley as your 4th starter let's say we're getting ahead of ourselves, but that's what we do sometimes. But, that wild card series, say it goes the full 3. Assuming you're going to have your top three start that game, Burns, Woodruff, Peralta. And then you're going to have a series against the Dodgers, let's say. And a lot of teams, they're like, oh, crap, we got to start our 4th starter at game 1 against, that. But it's Wade Miley who's having a good year. Is that almost kind of like a wild card benefit there to have that guy ready to go potentially for a game 1 while you have your top 3?
Yeah.
Getting that extra day there.
I think you feel confident with it. You feel confident that he's a guy that's going to be able to navigate through 6 innings and allow 2 runs and give you a shot. And he's not obviously, anyone that watches him pitch, he's
different than the other 3.
He's different than the other 3, but I'm not sure that there's another pitcher I like watching pitch more on the Brewers just because of how he pitches. He's he doesn't throw hard. He has to, induce weak contact to get people out, and he does. He's
striking out 7 yesterday was kind of not the norm for him.
Right.
That's the exception.
He's getting, he's cut fastball in on righties and, breaking bats and getting ground balls and, change ups and curveballs. He's kind of gone a little more to the 4-seam fastball up in the zone this year. It's just, he's so fun to watch pitch because he has to pitch. He can't just overpower you. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that in him anymore, but he can still make you be off balance. Not to the extent of, say Adam Wainwright on Monday, but, in that way of, hey, I'm not going to throw hard, so I have to really make sure I sequence well, and that's what he does.
Not comparing him to the careers, but kind of like a Greg Maddux sort of thing.
A bit, yeah, where you have to rely on the edges and
the location of the ball.
And look, when the Brewers signed Wade Miley at the start of the year, he's given you all you could hope for. At this stage of his career, he's not a guy that's going to go out there and throw 200 innings. He's had some stints on the injured list, but when that's your 4 or your 5, however you want to, characterize it, when that's your, back end of your rotation guy, your rotation's pretty good. You're just hoping that he's going to give you quality innings and that he's going to be healthy for the postseason. And right now that's looking like the case. Knock on wood.
Yep. That's my biggest concern right now is like, please, none of your starters get hurt.
Right,
Or,
right. And you can see that, and that's just one of those things that you just, I think you just play the last week and you just hope nothing happens. Like you can't hold
you
guys.
can't play scared.
You can't play scared. You can't hold guys out. It's not like the NFL where you can take a week off. Like you can't do that. That's 6 games in Major League Baseball. You can't do that.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't know. It's I got to give them credit because it sure looks like a week and a half ago it might come down to that final series because that magic number was so big. Brewers have been taking care of business and they've been getting help too.
They have. And look,
thank you, Pirates.
Well, yeah. Look at the teams that the Cubs have lost to. It's been the Pirates,
Rockies.
The Diamondbacks have had their number. The Diamondbacks are in a playoff spot right now. They'd be the 5 seed.
Right.
But in the past, when the Brewers, like last year, when the Brewers have had their issues, what have we complained about? Well, they're not beating the teams they should beat. Well, that's kind of what's happening with the Cubs right now.
Right. That's good comparison.
And the Brewers, look at the teams they've played. They've taken care of business against the Pirates, against the Yankees.
Yep. Cardinals.
The Cardinals, the Nationals. They've just taken care of business. They haven't. That door was open a little bit after that Cubs series at the end of August, and the Brewers just slammed it. Shut it.
I really hope people saw that on the video stream too.
I slammed the door with my arm.
Slammed that.
They just kind of slammed that door and said, "Nope, nope."
Yeah. Oh, I'm loving this, and I hope they can keep that momentum going. I believe momentum is such a huge decider in baseball when it gets to the postseason. So, but a lot of good stuff happening, man. Let's take a quick break and let's talk some college football. Badgers in action tonight. Don't forget, people, it's tonight. They got their Big Ten Friday game, 6 p.m. against Purdue. We'll finish up the first hour talking about that.
Got a take on today's topics but can't call in? Then hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or the text line and let your fingers do the talking.
The 65th Annual Kiwanis Club of Eau Claire's Paul Bunyan Flapjack Feed, Saturday, September 23rd from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Memorial High School Cafeteria in Eau Claire. Sponsored by Festival Foods. Tickets are $10 for adults, $5 for children under 12, and children 3 and under free. All proceeds go to service projects in the Eau Claire area. It's all you care to eat, and carryouts are available. Special appearances by Paul Bunyan and Pancake Man. Check out the annual Kiwanis Club Paul Bunyan Flapjack Feed, Saturday, September 23rd, Memorial High School in Eau Claire. Get more details online or find them on Facebook.
The VFW Post 305 on Star Avenue in Eau Claire, where breakfast is served 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. And if you're looking for a Friday fish fry, look no further. Try the VFW Post 305 on Star Avenue. After the Friday fish fry, stay for karaoke from 9 to 1 a.m. Bands are back on the weekends at the VFW at 8 o'clock until midnight, and Sundays from 2:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. The DJ plays your favorite oldies hits. Come check out their newly renovated kitchen. VFW Post 305 on Star Avenue in Eau Claire, where no one does more for veterans and their community.
Are you tired of living with constant pain? Well, it's time to take control of your well-being and experience the healing touch of Shepke Chiropractic. Whether you're struggling with back pain, headaches, or even stress, Shepke Chiropractic is here to listen, understand, and provide effective solutions tailored to your unique needs. They believe in treating the root cause, not just the symptoms, so you can experience lasting relief and improved quality of life. Their welcoming environment and compassionate care ensure that you're treated like family. They're not just focused on your spine, they're focused on your overall well-being. Don't let pain dictate your life any longer. Take the first steps towards a healthier, happier you by scheduling a consultation with Shepke Chiropractic today. And to make things easier for you, they have 2 locations to help better serve you. Rediscover the joy of pain-free living with Shepke Chiropractic. Visit ShepkeChiropractic.com for more information and to schedule your appointment. Your journey to a healthier, more fulfilling life starts here. Hunters, let me ask you a question. In your gun cabinet, do you have a deer rifle that's been passed down throughout your family? Maybe from your dad, grandpa, or great-grandfather? I do. I've got an old 30-30 bolt action that's been passed down throughout the years. And it was my first deer rifle I used when I was 12 years old, and it will be my son's first deer rifle as well. Every deer rifle has a story to tell throughout the years. Stories about that big one you got and missed. So if you're looking for that new deer rifle to begin a new set of stories, Let Tilden Gun help you write that new chapter in your deer hunting book. Whether you're looking for a new deer rifle for yourself so you can continue the tradition of passing along that older rifle to your young one, or looking for your first-time hunter's first deer rifle, Tilden Gun can help you. They did for me, and they will continue to help me write these stories in my deer hunting book. The added extra bonus about Tilden Gun, family-owned and operated, and the best deals in the Chippewa Valley. Just visit Tilden Gun today at 12427 90th Avenue in Chippewa Falls and visit tildengun.com.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Sports. You love it. We love it. And quite frankly, I don't trust anyone who doesn't love it. Do you?
Is that a serious question?
The Dan Kasper Show.
Who is the lucky winner this week, Brandon, for our Carpet City Flooring Center local sports spotlights?
Well, we talked about them a little bit earlier, but I think we are going to go with the Colfax Elk Mountain Girls Golf Team.
All right.
Their first conference championship since the co-op formed in 2020. Obviously, as I mentioned, a strong effort yesterday at Lake Cali. Bella Kongshad, very talented sophomore, finished second at state last year. She earned medalist honors. Otherwise, you had another sophomore, Gabby Amble, and also Isabel Byer, but also seniors Selena Klickner and Josie Seahaber, all playing well, all earning all conference honors for the cumulative throughout the season. And that's a team that now goes into regionals next week. I mentioned they're next week in Cadott, and they're feeling good. They've got as good as opportunity as any to play really well there and maybe advance out of there as a team.
Awesome. Good stuff there. Congrats, ladies, and best of luck in the postseason. That's your local sports spotlights brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. If you're looking to upgrading your flooring game, whether it's your man cave, your living room, your bedroom, your kitchen, bathroom, look no further than Wisconsin's premier flooring store, that being Carpet City Flooring Center right here in the great city of Eau Claire. Badgers tonight against Purdue. They begin their Big Ten portion of the schedule. Last week, a little bit of a slow start again in the first half. Then they turned the Jets on there, Brandon. But looking at this game against Purdue, we'll save the pick until coming up just past 8 o'clock. Does Purdue present any challenges to the Badgers, in your opinion, besides the Badgers presenting challenges to themselves, maybe?
I mean, I think so. I mean, obviously, this is a team that's a lot different from the team that made the Big Ten title game last year. Remember, this is the team that won the Big Ten West last year.
That's true.
So,
Yep.
But different coach,
Yep.
many different players.
Mm-hmm.
They have a transfer quarterback of their own, Hudson Card, who's playing pretty well for them. Remember, the Purdue head coach is Illinois' defensive coordinator from last year.
Mm-hmm.
So some things different. It's been a bit up and down for them, but look, it's a conference game. Like there's no, at this point, there's not going to be any layups. I don't think,
Mm-hmm.
especially early in the schedule. I will say, with Purdue, Rutgers, who is an improved team, and then Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've talked about that Iowa, Illinois, Ohio State stretch, but it starts right now with Purdue. And yeah, for Wisconsin, I think it's just so much about finding a way to start the offense fast. I don't think, in some of those cases, the defense has necessarily, last week, I don't think the defense was necessarily terrible. They forced a bunch of turnovers. But I think offensively having success right away is absolutely critical for Wisconsin. You don't want to get into another game where you're going into the second half and you can hear the collective groan of Wisconsin going, ugh,
Yep.
not again.
Right. No, you're totally right. Just kind of looking at some of the numbers here that, Purdue has been able to do. Just look at total yards. They're averaging 397 per game compared to Wisconsin 440. Yards allowed. Purdue's defense has given up over 409.3 to be exact. Wisconsin has allowed 368 yards. One thing, too, is Purdue has been giving up 122 on the ground here. So can we get a heavy dose of Ches and Mr. Allen, you would think, in this game? At least establish that. Like, I agree with you. Let's put up some points early in this game, and I don't want to say, the dagger right away in the first half, but, go up a couple touchdowns or something like that heading into the half. Put up a big number right away.
Right, and so far, all three of Purdue's games have been close. They lost by 4 to Fresno, beat Virginia Tech by 7, then lost last weekend to Syracuse by 15. Game that was a little bit closer on that, but so I mean, this may be another one of those games. I know the line is right around I think it's the upper single digits, if I remember. At least that was the last I'd seen.
Okay.
So,
actually, I see the line here from Caesars 5.5.
Okay, so
5.5 for
let's come
Wisconsin.
back down,
Yeah. Oh boy, that doesn't make Wisconsin. Well, they're probably basing it. Look at how Wisconsin's done,
right?
In the first.
No,
three
I think,
games
and that's probably pretty fair right now right with the way they're playing. So,
over under is 54. I might take the. Oh, that's close. That's a good line.
It is.
That's like a 30-24 game. That's a really good line. Oof.
Yep.
I don't know what I would take on that one. So, all right, but yeah, again, that game is tonight. We'll make our pick coming up here just past 8 o'clock here this morning. Also, coming up next hour, we've got cream of the crop. I am pumped about my.
You told me there's no way I'm going to outshine you with it this week, so I'm very curious to hear what yours is.
You're not going to get it. And if you do, then you and I share a brain, which is kind of scary there. So, cream of the crop coming up. Picks, though, first. So we're going to do some college football. A good slate of college football games this week. A little bit better than last week.
It is. And there ended up being, obviously, some really good ones last week. It just didn't necessarily look like it coming into it. And usually those will kind of outshine. But, yeah, this week is chock full of good ones.
Yep. Definitely. So we'll do the college picks first, then we'll do the whole slate of NFL games. And if you haven't made your picks yet for week 3 for our Pro Football Pick'em Challenge, you missed out on last night's game, but get in and get your picks because it is tight on the leaderboard for the first couple weeks of the season. Brandon had a good week because he made a jump up there, it looks like. So I'm right behind you, man, though. So right behind you. I'm coming. I'm coming. It's not how you start. It's how you finish, right? So, all right, 2 in. We got one more to go. We'll be back after these quick news updates.
WAYY Eau Claire, W286CK Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1 and 790 AM. Sports Talk 105.1 with the very latest local news.
Well, good morning. Here's what we're learning today. We'll start in Cadott, where they consider a clinic. The village of Cadott is considering buying the old Marshfield Clinic building. Cadott Police Department and the village board will hold 2 public listening sessions on a potential purchase, with the idea being to use the old Marshfield Clinic on Highway 27 there for a new village clerk and police department office building. There would also be talk of adding a new library to the old clinic. On the political stage, a handful of Republican lawmakers want to start the impeachment process against Wisconsin's elections chief. 5 state reps yesterday filed articles of impeachment against Megan Wolf for her time as administrator on the Wisconsin Elections Commission. Remains to be seen just how far that will go. Assembly Speaker Robin Voss would have to send the impeachment proposal to a committee. He's not yet done that. Well, from impeachment to apples, going to hop across the border. University of Minnesota is introducing a new kind of apple to the world. Has a crisp, juicy texture, kind of like a Honey Crisp, but more tropical. The apple breeding program at U of M has actually been around for more than a century, and this is their 29th variety of apple. You want to buy that? It'll be under the name Kudos in the next few years. And you probably know the program's most famous apple, the Honey Crisp. That was developed in 1960. Looking into headlines that involve the state level, Governor Tony Evers calls it ridiculous as Assembly Speaker Robin Voss has threatened to block UW system pay raises unless the UW cuts $32 million from DEI. That's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion programs. He's talking bees and bonnets.
If for some reason he's got to be in his bonnet around the issue of DEI, for God's sakes, you look at any major industry, even smaller industries in the state of Wisconsin, they care about diversity and equity and inclusiveness.
UW system raises were included in the most recent state budget, but must still be approved by a committee of legislative leaders co-chaired by Voss. And see you next time in South Dakota. Add another state to the map for Quick Trip Company yesterday, opening its first store in South Dakota. The new store is in Brandon, which is in the southeast corner of the state. Quick Trip says plans to open 5 more stores in South Dakota over the next several months. And the Brew Crew held St. Louis Cardinals to just 6 hits during that 6-0 win at Busch Stadium. Probably feeling pretty good about that if you're a Brewers fan. What does Wade have to say?
Nothing's done until it's done. And I think we've done a good job in this clubhouse keeping it that way. And guys are still, I don't know the word to use, but we're still hungry to get to that so we can, get that division and move on from there.
And, people ask me, what's it like to work with Kasper every day? And
I don't know the word to use.
Lucky. For Sports Talk 105.1. I'm Morgan McCarthy.
Starting off mostly in the 50s and 60s this morning, pretty similar to the last few mornings, but we'll have some intervals of clouds and sun and possibly a few chances at some showers later on this afternoon and evening. Tomorrow brings a few more chances at some showers and a few rumbles of thunder as well, with highs in the upper 70s and low 80s before we start to cool things down on Sunday as highs remain in the low 70s. I'm 13 First Alert meteorologist Mike D'Andrea.
Wake up and smell the aroma of perfection that is Cabin Coffee. Start your day right with their handcrafted, locally roasted coffee beans brewed to perfection just for you. From classic Americanos to lattes coffees, Cabin Coffee has your caffeine cravings covered. And if you're in need for a bite to eat for breakfast or lunch, they got you covered with a menu full of your favorite breakfast items and delicious sandwiches. So swing on over to River Perry in Altoona and experience the taste of coziness and comfort with Cabin Coffee.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation have been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
Let me ask you something. Did you name your firstborn after a football player?
Hell yeah.
Did you spend your honeymoon going to a football game?
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
Do you spend most of your free time hanging out in your man cave?
Yes!
If you answered yes to all the above, then you, my friend, are a serious sports fan just like Dan.
Yes!
This is exactly where you belong. Sports talking and BSing is what we do best.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yup.
So rise and grind, people, because the Dan Kasper Show is on the air.
You serious, Clark?
Right now.
Showtime!
Final hour, then we're out of here for the weekends. Hopefully you're all off to a great start on this Friday morning. Appreciate you tuning in wherever, however you may be tuning in online, on the radio dials, video stream, all that good stuff. We got cream of the crop coming up here in just a little bit. We're going to get back to some more football talk. How confident is Brandon and his Vikings beating the winless Chargers? Both. Who's going to start 0-3, Brandon? We'll find out, I guess, in picks coming up here too. So let's do that, shall we? Let's just jump right into it. We're not going to do the entire slate of college football games because that would be a lot, but we are going to do the entire slate of the NFL schedule here. So let's start off, Brandon. I'm going to kind of work backwards here for college football. Number 24, Iowa, visiting number 7, Penn State. Who you got?
Yes, it's a night game.
Yeah, it is a night game. Yep, 6:30.
Do we know offhand if it's the Whiteout game for Penn State? My guess is maybe.
I don't know off that, but yeah.
But it doesn't matter. I'm going to take Penn State either way. I think that they're going to be explosive enough to do some things against Iowa. And
good defense in Iowa, good offense in Penn State.
Right. That's the matchup there. But Iowa's not going to be able to punt as much as it would like and win that game. So,
really intriguing one here. Ohio State, number 6 at number 9, Notre Dame.
This one's at South Bend, correct?
Yep.
So,
another night game too.
Another night game. Notre Dame could have got them last year. That was a game they were in up into the end. But I'm going to take Ohio State to get a big road win here.
Never, ever, ever shall I ever trust Notre Dame in a big game until tomorrow night. I'm going Notre Dame. How about that?
Never have I ever pick Notre Dame in a big game. I already did.
I'm gonna go Notre Dame. I'm gonna do it. I don't know why. I'm going with the gut here. Going with the gut. Notre Dame. Number 14, Oregon State visiting number 21, Washington State.
The battle of the Who's Left Bowl.
Right.
The two teams that are on the outside looking in for any sort of conference right now.
Can they just make this the Pac-12 championships, as these are the last two remaining of this, for crying out loud? So
I appreciated that both those fan bases were trying to get College Game Day to go to the Palouse this week for that, just obviously with all that going on. And plus, it's a good game anyway. But I'm going to take Washington State. I mean, these are two teams that, the last few years have kind of been, making their way up. Jake Dicker doing a really good job. Washington State, former
Pointer.
UW
Pointer.
With that game, I know that game sold out. It's going to be loud there. I am going to go with Washington State.
This is a tough one. It is in Washington State. That's a tough place to play. That crowd, as we know with Wisconsin, I mean, they were setting up a tailgate days before. I'm going to go Oregon State, though. I'm going to go Oregon State. Going with the Beavers over there. Let's go with... Just moving on up. Ole Miss, number 15 versus number 13, Alabama. I really wanted it's the Lane Kiffin Bowl. I really want to pick Ole Miss.
Lane Kiffin's been behaving, but I'm going to go Alabama. I think
that was
better.
Not a good win last week.
It was not.
Alabama.
It was not. But I think they're better than kind of what they're showing here.
Mm-hmm. I just feel like Nick Saban needs a game against like Lane Kiffin or something like that, and then he's just going to
kind of jostle everything loose a little bit because they're a better team than.
Yeah. I'm going to go Alabama as well in this game. Number 22, UCLA at number 11, Utah.
I'm going to go Utah. That's a future Big 12, Big 10 showdown there. But for now, it's still in the Pac-12. But I'm going to go Utah.
I'm going Utah as well. For this game, this next one that I'm going to tell you, I want to include the line on this one. Colorado at Oregon. This is so I've got it up here, like even the matchup, the mothership 90. I don't know if I've seen a bigger discrepancy. 93.9% in favor of Oregon. The line is at 21. Travis Hunter is not playing for Colorado. So who wins? Do they cover?
Oregon wins, but they don't cover. I think the loss of Travis Hunter is really big in this one, and plus,
it stinks. I wish he was playing.
Plus, going to Oregon, Autzen always a really tough place to play, especially right now. I mean, and that, Oregon is going to be fired up to, possibly be the one to kind of deal that first loss to, Coach Prime and the Buffaloes. So I say Oregon wins, but Colorado keeps it
under 21.
Yes.
You know what? I'm a big Dion guy. Oregon wins. Oregon covers. I'm going 20. I think they win by 21. I think it's just, I don't know. That Travis Hunter loss is so big. It's so big right now.
That's a game they could have easily lost last week to Colorado State.
Yep. Yeah, I don't have a good feeling about this one. And I know everybody's already banking, I get it, why, Oregon. And so it's like set up that Colorado is going to be closer. It just feels like it, but I don't know. I'm going straight up with my gut on these picks right now, and that's where I'm at. I'm going to put this one in here. I know who we're both going to pick, I think, but I'm going to put this one in here because I don't know. Could they somehow pull off an upset? Number four, Florida State at Clemson. The line is only 2 Florida State.
Wow.
I got you thinking on that one.
You did. That line is a little light from what I was thinking. Because Clemson, I mean,
they got that first loss of the season, and they've
Duke.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna
because then they put up 66 and 48.
Yeah, I'm still gonna take Florida State. But that's interesting.
Yeah.
And as it's often said, usually Vegas knows.
It's at Clemson too, which is kind of the weird thing here.
I'm gonna still go Florida State though. But I had to think about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Florida State too. I don't really want to say they're going to cover. It's 2, so I mean by field goal and all that stuff. So, all right, final college game: Wisconsin at Purdue tonight. The line for this game 5.5, according to Caesars Sportsbook. What do you got?
Badgers win. Badgers cover. I'm not gonna say they cover by a ton.
I'm going the same way.
Yep.
Badgers cover. I think they win by double-digit points. I'll go with that. I think the Badgers win by double-digit points. For the love of Mary, can you please start off fast on the offensive side for crying out loud?
Right.
So, all right, let's get to our NFL picks now, Brandenburg. I think both of us picked the 49ers last night, so I think we're okay on that one there. So let's go through the entire schedule here. Let me bring it up because I'm using the our Pick'em challenge.
Yep, that's why yours in the right order. So
Colts at the Ravens.
Ravens, I will take. I don't know if we've heard an update yet if Anthony Richardson's going to play or if he's still in protocol or what. But
Gardner Minshew mania.
Hey, you know me, I'm a Gardner Minshew guy, but that's tough.
Mhm.
That's going to be tough to go in there and take that team. So I'm going to go with the Ravens.
I am going with the Ravens as well. Browns, Nick Chubb, no Nick Chubb in this game. Tennessee coming into town to visit them. How do you see this one playing?
I'm going to go with the Titans. I mean, they're just always that team that they're physical. Like I feel like they're always just such a tough matchup for other teams because there's not a ton of teams that play the way they do, as far as just being that physical team.
Mm-hmm.
Without Nick Chubb, obviously the Browns want to run the ball.
Yeah,
that's a lot harder now. I'm going to go with the Titans.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson is not playing like Deshaun Watson from a few years ago with the Texans.
No, he looks like he's a guy that missed 2 years of football.
Right. Yep. I'm going the Titans too, but this is a low-scoring game.
It's a rock fight.
Yeah. Yep. Atlanta 2-0 going to visit the Detroit Lions, who fell to the visiting Seattle Seahawks last week.
They fell last week. I don't think they will this week. I will take the Lions. Obviously, the Falcons were able to rally last week to beat the Packers, but I still don't know if we've learned too much about the Falcons offensively. Their defense is fine, but it's kind of a no-name group.
Right.
I think the best position group in this game is the Lions offense. And I think they have another day where they're able to put up some points and they're able to get a little bit more from their defense.
I'm going Lions too. I think they bounce back. It's at home. Atlanta's 2-0.
They're gonna have the ski mask.
Yeah, right. Detroit wins this one. Let's skip over this one. Houston at Jacksonville.
I will go with the Fighting Shad Khans and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, Jacksonville bounces back from a loss against Kansas City, and they go to 2-1 against the Houston Texans. The Denver Broncos versus the Miami Dolphins in the Vic Fangio Bowl. Broncos still looking for their first win.
They are, and they could have two. I mean, they're not that far removed from possibly being 2-0, but I don't think that it's going to be that same type of game this week. Dolphins look really good in the first 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the Dolphins at home.
I am a big Mike McDaniel fan. I am going Dolphins in this one too. I'll save this one too. I'm going to save ours for the last two there. Patriots at the Jets. Will Bill Belichick finally get a win this year?
Yes. Yeah. At this point, Belichick would love to kind of smell the blood in the water a little bit with obviously the Jets still reeling from Aaron Rodgers' injury. So, and until the Jets can do something consistently on offense from that quarterback spot, it's going to be tough to pick them any week, especially with that schedule they got.
Yep. I'm going Patriots too. I think they pick up the win. Buffalo Bills versus, kind of surprising how well they're playing, Washington Commanders at Washington. How do you see this one going?
I'm going to go with Buffalo.
Yeah. I'm going Buffalo too. But hey, Washington's 2-0. All the talk about Eric Bieniemy being too hard on the guys in the offseason. I think Eric Bieniemy's stocks might be rising here a little bit for teams that potentially want a new head coach next year. He's proving it right now, at least. Because it's always like, well, it was Andy Reid's system and all blah blah blah. And, well, he's got the Commanders at 2-0 right now. So, or helping with that offense is Sam Howell too. So, Carolina at Seattle.
Seattle, especially with the news that it doesn't sound like Bryce Young's going to play for Carolina.
You're not an Andy Dalton believer?
Not anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Seattle.
I got Seattle too, in Seattle. The Cowboys, who had an awful day at practice yesterday. Diggs is done for the year, torn ACL in practice. Biotic, their center, hamstring injury at practice. I mean, everybody was singing the praises of the Cowboys for the last couple of years, and now they get dinged up in practice. So
yuck.
Arizona's actually been a fickle team the first couple weeks. They're screwing around trying to mess up the first pick here. So Dallas at Arizona in the Emmitt Smith game.
I was going to say, this is a vintage NFC East rivalry.
Yep.
But Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm going Cowboys too. So Bears at the Chiefs. Talk about another team that's had an awful week. Holy moly.
They could have had the best week, but Chiefs.
Matt Nagy gets his revenge. It's the Chiefs against the Bears. Let's go Steelers at Raiders.
Steelers.
I'm going Raiders. I'm just not a believer in the Steelers right now. Not a believer. I don't know if it's because Kenny Pickett wears 2 gloves or what, but
He's got that Teddy Bridgewater thing going.
He does. I'm going Raiders in this one. Let's go Eagles at the Fighting Baker Mayfields, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I'm going to go with Philly. I think that's going to be a very pro-Philly crowd down in Tampa. Battle of 2 fan bases who may not always be the most pleasant to opposing fans. So, But yeah, Philly.
I'm going Philly. Tampa Bay still got a good defense, but it's Philly in this one. Rams at the Bengals.
This was the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And now look at it.
Right.
I mean, we've got, obviously, with the Rams, the Bengals, decent chance Joe Burrow doesn't play.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with the Bengals simply because they're the home team.
Yeah. I'm going Bengals too. In this one, I think, 0-2, they're going to bounce back here. Chargers at the Vikings.
It is the Vikings versus the AFC Vikings.
Yes. That's a very good comparison.
I've heard that
like
comparison made quite a bit this week, and to me, it's 100. I mean, obviously, they're a little bit different, but both teams have a knack for finding ways to lose games in heart-wrenching fashion, so you kind of wonder what's going to happen here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take the Chargers.
You know what? I took the Chargers too, and it's that offense with the Chargers.
Now, I'm going to be curious to see the injury report for the Chargers today. Nick Bosa did not practice yesterday.
Yep.
Wait,
or Joey Bosa.
Joey Bosa, sorry. The LA Bosa.
One of the Bosas.
Yes.
That's related to Jake Kumaro.
Yeah, Nick Bosa did not practice. He played yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah, Joey Bosa did not either, and that was a downgrade. So from the day before, so that's obviously going to loom large. But I'm going to go with the Chargers in a game that somehow is excruciating and frustrating for both teams.
Yep. All right, Saints at the Packers. Who do you got?
I'm going to take the Saints.
How dare you, sir? You come into here and you pick that?
Yes.
Okay. So you got the Saints going 3-0.
Yes.
I've gone back and forth on this one. You can't be 16-1 with another loss, so I'll go Green Bay in this one by 3.
Did you pick Green Bay to go 16-1 with a loss to Atlanta?
Yes.
And then rattling off.
Just asked me on Monday. That's what I did. So yeah, absolutely. Biggest matchup in this one, I think, is going to be the Packers offense versus that really good defense of the Saints over there. So, all right, that's our picks. Coming up, we're going to do cream of the crop, but I'm going to tell you what we're going to talk about next, Brandon. It kind of relates to your team here a little bit.
Okay.
We got a few teams who are 0-2. Who needs a win the most this weekend? You got Denver, who's 0-2. You got the Bengals, who are 0-2. The Chargers are 0-2. If you want to throw the Patriots in there, Minnesota's 0-2. We're not going to count Carolina, Chicago, and Arizona. Giants are 1-2. They played last night, but whatever. They don't count here. But who needs a win the most to avoid an 0-3 start? We're talking like the teams that had playoff aspirations, if you will. Rest of you can play along with us. Hit us up with a text. 715-830-1912, or Twitter, Facebook, video stream, all that good stuff. So let's take a quick break. Cream of the crop coming up next.
The Dan Kasper Show will be right back.
If Culligan isn't treating your home's water, you likely have water problems all around you, like hard-to-clean chalky residue on your shower, faucets, and bath, stains around your sink drains, spots on your dishes and glassware, plus dull, dried-out hair and skin, and problems you don't see, like scaly buildup in the water heater and pipes. But have no fear. You're in the clear with Culligan Products and Service for all your residential and commercial water filtration needs.
Visit CulliganH2O.com for your local Culligan water dealer.
Made and worn by athletes. Wolf and Shepherd's the name. Probably seen them with Rob Gronkowski or Steve Nash or Maria Sharapova. Our fellow broadcaster, Aaron Andrews, has joined the team as well. You're going to love how these look and how they feel. It all started with the crossover, taking the classic dress shoe style and silhouette and placing that on an agile foam footbed and an outsole with all the comfort, innovation, and upgrades that you get in an athletic shoe. But it didn't stop there. The all-new Cruise line, cutting edge of casual styles, made to be worn every day with comfort. Now, designed in LA, crafted from premium Italian leather in Portugal, this is the future of footwear. Never sacrifice style for comfort again with Wolf and Shepherd. Dive into the future of footwear and discover what shoes were always meant to be. wolfandshepherd.com. That's Wolf and Shepherd, HERD.com.
There's no better place to watch and cheer on the green and gold every single game than 44 North Gastro Pub in Altoona. $3 domestic mugs, rail mixers, $4 margarita mugs, and bloodies and more. Plus the food. Can't watch the games without sustenance. $2 chips and salsa, $8 slider baskets and pretzel twists, $10 pizzas, and $13 wings. Oh, and of course, free touchdown shots. 44 North Gastro Pub on River Prairie Drive in Altoona. Get your game on.
Winter is straight ahead, but let's think of some warm spring weather. Join me on a farm tour to Costa Rica and Panama, March 23rd through April 1st. We'll visit the Doca Coffee Estate, a local Costa Rican farm, and receive an agricultural presentation in Panama. Other stops include the Arenal National Park, and we'll sail through the Panama Canal. Visit holidayvacations.com, keyword wax, for more information and to watch a travel show, or call 888-557-1020 for a free brochure.
Who doesn't love cooking up a good burger on the grill? Having a good burger is one of the most satisfying moments in your life. And now we have the perfect burger to put on the grill and create more satisfying moments in your life. It's the Dan Good Burger, available only at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. This burger has bacon, cheese, and ranch seasoning all inside the patty to give you that perfect balance of taste and awesomeness in each bite. So head on over to Hy-Vee in Eau Claire and grab yourself a few Dan Good Burgers and fire up that grill.
If you were to listen to Dan Kasper nonstop around the clock for a solid month, you'd become the king of all sports fans, desired by beautiful women, and rich beyond your dreams. I think. Try it and let's see. The Dan Kasper Show.
Are you ready to discover a hidden treasure trove of home improvement wonders while giving back to your community? Well, look no further than Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity Restore. At the Restore, you'll find an ever-changing selection of quality furniture, appliances, building materials, and so much more, all at an unbeatable price. But here's the best part. Every purchase you make at the Restore supports their mission to build affordable homes for families in need right here in the Chippewa Valley. It's shopping with a purpose, making your house a home while making dreams come true for others. So whether you're looking for a stylish new piece for your living room or tackling a DIY project, make the Restore your first stop. Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity Restore, where every item tells a story and every purchase builds a brighter future. All right, shall we do the cream of the crops?
But the cream will rise to the top. On balance, off balance, doesn't matter. I'm better than you are, yeah. The cream of the crop! Nobody does it better.
I'll let you lead off, Brandon. Who's your cream of the crop?
My cream of the crop, I'm going to go with the Brewers run. I'm going to go Tyrone Taylor.
Okay.
Since coming off the injured list in the middle of August, Tyrone Taylor hitting 274, 319 on base percentage, not the greatest in the world, but slugging at a near 550 clip, which is by far the best on the team. I think somebody that we've all known over the course of his career has been a bit hotter. It can be a bit hot and cold, but it's got 8 home runs during that stretch, which is for second team. But a guy that's really kind of helped lift up the bottom half of that lineup, because he's been hitting near the bottom of the lineup. And I think at this point he should probably continue there just because it's working. He's given good balance to that lineup, playing around the outfield, playing pretty much every day now. And he's a reason why this team is now on the doorstep of clinching a division championship.
Mm-hmm. All right. I've been touting it. I was so pumped to see this. Little backstory. One of the greatest Twitter accounts of all time, or X accounts, whatever you want to call it, was Captain Andrew Luck. And so if you don't know what it is, so this person, I would love to think it was Andrew Luck doing this, but this person, we know how Andrew Luck looks, right? Beard and all that. Kind of put Andrew Luck into a Civil War era sort of thing, and was like using the Twitter account as a Civil War,
like to give updates,
right? So like his last tweet, which was actually in May. Dearest mother, my beard has been tapered but not tampered. Thusly, I shall resume my quiet days in my Appalachian cabin, reading to the birds. A basket with spiced beaver thighs and fresh squirrel oil is on the way. 'Twas lovely to correspond once more. I love you, Andrew. Stuff like that. So,
and they would, like, before they played games, they would say like things based on the opponent they were playing and stuff. Just fun, like fun stuff they get. Like you said, that sounds like it's from the middle of the 19th century.
Yes. So here's one. Dearest mother, our victory frolicking has ceased. We must now begin our march to Kansas City to battle a unit of such great stature. Every member has been granted the title of chief. Our path has been long and winding, but I have never seen the men's spirits higher. Signed, Andrew. So there was that Twitter account. Last night on Thursday Night Football, Andrew Luck made an appearance on the set donning a Civil War uniform. Well played, Andrew Luck. Well played. That was awesome. That was fantastic. Easily the cream of the crop. He's self-aware. He played up to it. It was fantastic. Loved it. Boom. Awesome. Andrew Luck, come back now and dress up as that. Go play for somebody. Not the Jets, though. But that was awesome. Especially, like, I don't know Andrew Luck. I've never talked to him. He seemed to be like a quiet, type of person. For him to go out and do that was beautiful. It was beautiful. Chef's kiss there. So, all right, Brandon, of the 0-2 teams who are out there right now, I'll tell you all of them again. Cardinals, Bears, Panthers, Vikings, Broncos, Bengals, Texans, Chargers, Patriots. Who needs a win the most this weekend?
I'm going to go with the Bengals, because I think of all those teams you mentioned, they are realistically maybe in the toughest division that already has a team that's 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
You can't fall behind somebody 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
And they have their issues with Joe Burrow, and just they've had their issues these first 2 games. Like, they can't afford to give too much slack. I know that, I think they were one of the rare teams that started 0-3 and made the playoffs, but you can't bank on that happening a couple times. Some of those other teams you mentioned, teams I think that still have a realistic shot at the playoffs are in divisions where you don't got 2-0 teams outside of the Dolphins with the Patriots. So there's still, a little bit
Chargers
easier.
are in a division with the Chiefs who are 1-1, that sort of thing.
So that's why I'm going to go with the Bengals.
Mm-hmm. Bengals were the team I was looking at here too. Not only that, not only are they 0-2, they're 0-2 in a division. So they're already behind in that. They're going up against a Rams team that I think have played above expectations a little bit here, but I'm looking at the Bengals schedule coming up here. Rams, Titans, Cardinals, Seahawks. Those are winnable games for a team that a lot of people can see going to the Super Bowl. They were my Super Bowl pick, to represent the AFC. I didn't have them winning their division, but I had them going to the Super Bowl before they play the 49ers. Then they got 49ers and Bills back to back. Ooh, that's a tough one there. But I would agree with you. I think it's the Bengals. If I had to pick another one though, just to be a little bit different, I might pick the Chargers as my next one. Because I feel like, do you want to go 0-3, assuming Kansas City's probably going to be 2-1 after this weekend? And yes, they still got a couple games going up against Kansas City. But if I had to pick another one, I would probably pick the Chargers. Although I do think if the Broncos lose this one 0-3, there's going to be a lot of chit chat about Sean Payton and Russell Wilson and all. And the thing is, they are going to go 0-3 because the Dolphins are going to win. But then they got the Bears after that. There's going to be a lot of talk, I think, about everybody was like expecting this big jump with the Broncos because Sean Payton was coming on over. He was going to fix Russell Wilson, and they've lost to the Raiders and the Commanders now. So there's going to be a lot of talk. It's going to happen because they're not beating the Dolphins, but that would probably be my third one over there. Minnesota, I just still feel like this division, I don't know what to make of it.
Right. I that's why I have a little more leeway with like the Vikings, because the way this division has started, 9 wins could win it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't want to keep getting behind, and they haven't played a division game yet.
Right.
And they play a lot of division games late in the year. Like the end of the year, they play the Lions twice at the end. They play the Packers the second to last game. So you don't want to put yourself in that spot because they have some challenging schedule. You know, they play Kansas City in a few weeks. They play San Francisco next month. So like they've got some games on that you can't really just say, oh, well, they can just go win that game.
Right.
But
on the flip side of that, though, too, you could say, well, they got to win this one because they got Carolina after that. But then Chiefs, as you mentioned, then they're at Chicago, 49ers at Green Bay. We'll see what the Falcons are at that point. But, yeah, it's interesting that they've got Lions 2 times in the final 3 weeks.
Yep.
That's you look at the last 4 games for Minnesota here. You know this. I didn't know it off the top of my head. At Cincinnati, home against Detroit, home against the Packers, at Detroit.
yeah, it's not easy, but it could be those, especially those last 3. It could be very, very relevant.
Yeah, you're talking about division standings there too. So, because I know I don't know it off the top of my head, but I did see the statistic about teams who start off 0-3 and making the postseason.
Yeah, there's not many.
Yeah, there's not. So, but I think there's a couple teams out there that is it too early to say must win?
Maybe not must win, but probably you better win.
You better win.
You better win.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Green Bay, New Orleans, Derek Carr coming into Lambeau. Why do you think the Saints are going to win? Make me one argument or a couple arguments why you picked the Saints to win.
Especially if Christian Watson doesn't play, I think Marcus Lattimore can do a pretty good job of limiting whoever that next, whether it's Romeo Dobbs, Jalen Reed, whatever. Like I think that they can do things that are going to make it tough on the Packers offense.
Mm-hmm. That defense to me is May is going to be missing time, which I know is but they still got Cam Jordan, they still got the Honey Badger Tyrann Mathieu. You mentioned Marshawn Lattimore, former Badger Zach Bond, Demario Davis. List goes on and on. And then at the left side of the offensive line for Green Bay, and you got Cam Jordan. Probably I would assume taking advantage of that. Why wouldn't you? You'd be an idiot not to. So to me, that's why I look at this as this is a Matt LaFleur game. We don't know if Aaron Jones returned to practice yesterday, but how effective is he going to be? Is he going to be on a pitch count? A.J. Dillon has struggled the first couple of weeks. You mentioned Christian Watson. Well, we know the offensive line is banged up for Green Bay. This to me, and you're going up against that Saints defense, this to me is a Matt LaFleur game. You have to game plan it. You have to be creative. You have to scheme it to make it easier on your young receivers, your quarterback, and take some of that pressure off your offensive group. Because I think it is going to be tough. And I know, and I agree with it to an extent, that there's going to be some people say, well, look who the Saints played. Tennessee and Carolina. Because the Saints are one of 3 teams, Browns and Cowboys, the other ones, to only allow 1 touchdown drive so far this year. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, look who they played. And there's a point to that. There is. But I think there's also a point, too. Well, you look at Green Bay and their offense, it's been up and down, which I think is a lot to be expected this year. But I look at this as a big Matt LaFleur game to try to help ease the loss of a lot of your offensive players out there. Packers run defense got shredded last week against Bijan Robinson. The leading rusher for the Saints right now is Taysom Hill. No Alvin Kamara. Jamal Williams sounds like he's not going to play. We know Taysom Hill can be like a Swiss Army knife sort of
but
thing.
you're not giving him 20 carries.
You're not giving him 20 carries. There is absolutely no flipping reason why this Packers run defense shouldn't be able to stop the run. And if they can't, I don't care who's running the ball. As long as, we know it's not going to be Kamara and Williams. If it's Taysom Hill and they're still having success running the ball, Joe Barry and that defense has issues. If they're going to struggle to stop the run again with this unit, they're going to have some major issues. So take care of that. Put the pressure on Derek Carr. But, I look at like Jair, Chris Olave, Rasul Douglas, Michael Thomas. That should be a fun matchup. I don't know if it's going to be a situation where Jair shadows Olave the whole time. You'd think it's like, okay, smaller wide out, smaller corner, Rasul's bigger, you'd think, but we'll see. But I ultimately think this game will be won by which unit plays better between the Packers offense or the Saints defense. Because if the Packers offense controls the clock, time of possession, where they can have long sustained drives, I think they've got a shot. But if they're going to do those quick 3-and-outs again and gas their own defense, then it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a really long day. That was the most frustrating part in that fourth quarter. I know everybody was kind of pointing the finger, and the run defense stunk. It absolutely stunk. That offense didn't do their defense any favors by going 3-and-out, turnover on downs for the final drive. Couldn't give your defense a breather. Couldn't get the run game. You're up, was 13, 12, whatever it was heading into the fourth, and you can't establish your run game to kill the clock. So I've gone back and forth on this pick so much. I've gone back and forth on this one so much.
Does it change your opinion at all that Jonathan Vilma is on the call?
No.
The only thing I think of when I think of Jonathan Vilma was watching a game last year. I think it was a Vikings-Lions game where he did his best to compare Jared Goff to Kurt Warner.
Oh, boy.
So,
okay. I know you're a big Jonathan Vilma fan.
Of course. Going back to his playing days in New Orleans.
Yeah. Big fan.
I mean, I actually don't mind him, but that was just something I thought of. I'm like, that's an interesting comparison to make.
Yeah. Well, I was referring to like Bounty Gate.
Oh, I know, I am too, but
yeah,
I just don't want to make it sound like I was bitter because of that in his broadcast career. Like that, he just said something I thought was dumb, but I mean, I don't really.
Right.
I hold that grudge with Sean Payton and probably Greg Williams, but
yeah.
But
yeah, I think this is going to be a low scoring game, kind of like the 20s or something like that.
2017 kind of.
Yeah. Yep. At what point do you and the other thing here too is like I could see Aaron Jones not playing even though he returned to practice. Short week.
Yeah.
You got Detroit coming up the following week. Not to look too far ahead, but you got that to kind of focus on, and then you get a little bit. It's kind of weird. You get a Thursday, then you get a little bit of a extra day because it's Monday night. Then you get your bye week after that.
Yeah.
So, whatever. It is what it is at that point. So, but all right. Tell you what, let's take our final break and we'll wrap things up here this morning. Kind of cover some bases. Brewers, can they clinch tonight? With a win, they could clinch a playoff spot. If the Cubs lost too, they could clinch the division.
You're listening to the Dan Kasper Show.
Experience movies the way they were meant to be at your locally owned family theaters, Mycon Cinemas. Here's what's playing now. Barbie, The Justiciar 3, Expendables, My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3, A Haunting in Venice, The Nun 2, It Lives Inside, and Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour. For theaters and showtimes, find them online at myconcinemas.com.
Made and worn by athletes. Wolf and Shepherd's the name. Probably seen them with Rob Gronkowski or Steve Nash or Maria Sharapova. Our fellow broadcaster, Aaron Andrews, has joined the team as well. You're going to love how these look and how they feel. It all started with the crossover, taking the classic dress shoe style and silhouette and placing that on an agile foam footbed and an outsole with all the comfort, innovation, and upgrades that you get in an athletic shoe. But it didn't stop there. The all-new Cruise line, cutting edge of casual styles, made to be worn every day with comfort. Now, designed in LA, crafted from premium Italian leather in Portugal, this is the future of footwear. Never sacrifice style for comfort again with Wolf & Shepherd. Dive into the future of footwear and discover what shoes were always meant to be. wolfandshepherd.com. That's Wolf and Shepherd, HERD.com. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is keeping you in on all the action. New customers can bet just $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Plus, all customers take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. You can sign up using the code Patrick. That's code Patrick only on DraftKings Sportsbook. And sign up $5. You can get $200 instantly in bonus bets.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles, and Louisiana. 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply.
Hey there, athletes and active folks of the Chippewa Valley. When it comes to your health and performance, there's only one name you need to know: Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. They specialize in getting you back in the game. Their expert team of orthopedic specialists and sports medicine doctors will treat your injuries and provide personalized care. Your comeback story begins at Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Just visit cvosm.com. That's cvosm.com to learn more and to schedule your appointment.
What happens when a legend leaves at the top of his game to pursue his own path? In sports, it leads to amazing moments. In whiskey, it can create remarkable results. Brian Nation is one such whiskey legend, a master distiller, and he left a storied career in Ireland, bringing innovation to the spirits category here in the United States. His first whiskey, Keeper's Heart, is an absolute masterpiece. Keeper's Heart, the world's first Irish and American whiskey, blending those 2 distinct distilling styles into one celebrated spirit. It's so good, in fact, their 10-year-old whiskey was recently named World's Best Irish Whiskey by the Tasting Alliance. Based on the awards it continues to bring home, it's unlike anything the world has ever tasted before in the best possible way. Keeper's Heart brings the boldness of American whiskey and the smoothness of Irish whiskey to create a new experience worthy of the record books. Enjoy responsibly.
What makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination? Because they offer free battery testing and charging and reliable replacement batteries. And they've always got your battery solution. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
As a roofer, I'm always on the go. So I need to be able to get things done from anywhere. That's why I partner with Beacon. With the Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like Certainty Landmark Pro, right at my fingertips. It's like having my Beacon rep in my pocket 24/7. I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Now through November, purchase Certainty through Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $750. Beacon, always building.
Maybe you missed parts of the Dan Kasper Show because of the clown that lives in the sewer.
Radio will do.
Don't worry, you can get highlights of the show on the Man Cave Podcast, available on your favorite podcasting platforms.
Wrapping things up here, we'll have a new episode of the Man Cave Podcast brought to you by Hy-Vee and Toyson Ford up later on this morning. If you're not listening to it, we're not friends. It's now available. It's now available on YouTube as well. So, podcast up there, Apple, Spotify.
There's no reason not to listen.
Exactly. Be a friend. Otherwise, we're not friends. So,
come on.
Bees Mom. Good morning, guys. How can you not be excited about our Brewers all the way, baby? B is getting playoff tickets, and
It's
Go
true.
Pack Go, and Bucky too.
That's not true, but that is true.
She also said Cincinnati needs to win more. So, thought that song was done there.
Oh.
But,
I don't know. I can't hear it.
That's right. Your headphones there. So, Brewers potentially could clinch that playoff spot tonight with a win. And if they win and the Rockies help out the cause, they will clinch the division right now. If the playoffs started today, Cubs would not be in the postseason. Brewers would be taking on Miami, which they do today. Then you got Philly and Arizona as your other wild cards in the National League. In the AL side of things, Twins could also clinch the division with a win tonight against the Angels. They would face Texas. Blue Jays as the 5. Tampa Bay would be the 4.
So, going under the assumption that the Brewers clinch the division sometime this weekend, if it's today or tomorrow, if you can't clinch it in Milwaukee, is there a funner place to clinch it than Miami?
That's a good point. Yeah.
I would be interested to see that next day hangover roster.
Yeah.
Their lineup. You might have Brian Anderson back cleanup. The announcer.
The announcer, yeah. Oh my God. Hat T-shirt game, they call it, right?
Yeah,
it's a hat T-shirt game.
But yeah, I mean that would be
The only downfall is they probably won't know the results of the Cubs game by the time they're done.
Right, because their game will be starting a little bit sooner. So it's
because Cubs. I'm bringing it up right now. Their schedule. Come on, are they in Colorado or are they in? No, they're in Wrigley. Oh, never mind. They play at 1:20 today.
Oh, well, then they
potentially could know.
Yeah, I suppose Friday afternoon game at Wrigley. So, yeah. So, man, maybe they could know. That game tomorrow is an early afternoon game. So,
yep. All right. So, never mind.
Boy,
it could
if they clinch it tomorrow with they play at 3, you could be done by like 6. Ooh, that could be.
Yeah.
Stay safe in Miami, everybody, if that's the case.
Yeah. I wish I could do the Pitbull woo thing. I can't. I can't roll my R's.
But man, you don't want to clinch on a Sunday, and then you have to fly home.
You get the off day though.
I guess you get the off day to recover. But man, like, what do you? I guess that's just a late night. I mean, you're chartering a flight, so I guess you don't have a departure time.
Right.
Your departure time is whenever you get there.
Yep. Yeah. They're going to do it this weekend, I think. Don't you?
I believe so.
Division wise, we're
division wise, we're talking. I mean, wild card. I mean, that you don't want to say it doesn't matter, but when the division is literally right there, it does matter.
Mm-hmm. I think they do it tomorrow. I think they'll do it tomorrow. Although the pitching matchups for this Colorado one ain't looking too great. I mean, they got some bad pitchers, but whatever. Never. Cubs aren't playing the greatest right now either, so we'll see. But
Brent Suter, be a dude.
Right? Be a dude. I was thinking about this, like, yeah, I don't know. We kind of chatted about it last hour, but I was like, okay, what if it is potentially Brewers Cubs for that playoff series, and then it's Brewers Cubs already for the final series?
That'd be tough because that's just too much. Like if you're the Cubs, you probably you stay in town,
right? And I'm like, okay, could the Brewers almost force it to where it's like, hey, we're gonna make you pitch Steele on Sunday,
right? Like you're making them have to go and throw your best,
right? So you can avoid them maybe for the whole series or the back.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And obviously, I think something if that were to happen, I think something that Brewers fans would be kind of leery of would be how many Cubs fans are you going to have there for the playoffs? Yeah. But I think the thing that helps them is the Cubs make the playoffs. Chances are they're not going to know. The fans aren't going to know,
right,
until like that Sunday.
So Brewers fans, moral of the story: buy your tickets starting today.
That's what I'm doing.
Right. Fill up that stadium with Brewers fans.
Right.
Cardinals fans, you want to jump on the bandwagon with us? We'll take you too.
Come on.
Right?
Come on.
You don't like
fun. Wear your powder blue jerseys. It's close enough.
Yeah, exactly.
You can find like a Jim Edmonds jersey. That's fine.
Exactly.
Nobody's got Jeff Soup on one, so we won't worry about that.
No, if you're a Contreras fan from the Cardinals, his brother's playing for the Brewers. Come on. You know
Jonathan Broxton played for both teams.
Axford too.
John Axford played for both teams.
We got connections here. We'll forget about.
Bring some barbecue.
We'll forget about 2011.
I won't.
That's.
I'd say I won't forget about 1982, but I wasn't born yet.
Yeah. Just don't wear a Tony Lisser, but you know what I mean. I can't talk. I'm losing my voice.
No La Russa. That's not allowed.
La Russa, thank you.
Not allowed. Vince Coleman, A-OK. Ozzie Smith, you bet.
Yep. What about Duncan, the pitching coach?
Dave Duncan?
Yeah, Dave Duncan.
Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan. Yeah, Tim Duncan.
I wonder if the pitching coach knows the big fundamental too.
Maybe.
Be a good name for if you're a coach.
I know our buddy Illini Greg. He's a big Cardinals fan, but he's on the bandwagon with us.
There we
right
go.
now.
We appreciate you, Greg.
Yep. Casper Classic
You're
champion.
you're a champ. You're a part of a championship team there, and you can
Yep. Jump on board with this championship team. All aboard. Did you see the MLB.com article yesterday about the teams that have not won a World Series?
I did.
It was a good. I really enjoyed it. But they're exactly right. If the Brewers were to win the World Series, the happiest person in the world would be Bob Uecker. And then because I love the line where they said, "If Bob Uecker's happy, everybody's happy." I kind of it's still mind-boggling. The guy's gonna turn 90.
Yep.
In January. Let's get him a World Series.
Let's get him something.
Again, I'll go back. 5 of the last 6 years they've been in the postseason, 4 times prior to 2018, and Uecker stuck around to call all those crappy seasons.
I was gonna say, you know that. Like I think you mentioned, going back to the '80s, George Steinbrenner tried to get him to go to New York to announce for the Yankees.
Yeah.
He said no, he's staying where he is.
Yeah.
So many of my early memories of baseball involve Bob Uecker calling bad Brewers games, talking about Mac Meeske and Kevin Seitzer and John Jaha.
Oh, John.
No offense to those players, because some of those players are actually pretty good, but just the team in general was not good.
Mm-hmm. John Jaha. Forgot about that guy. Wow. So, yeah, let's get one for Ueck, please.
Just one.
Then when that happens, let's just take the whole day off for the whole state, okay? With the parade and all that. Just everybody take the whole day off because I want to see Uecker celebrate.
Oh, my gosh. We've seen him celebrate after division championships. Could you imagine that?
Yeah. Wow. That would be awesome. Absolutely awesome. But first things first, clinch it, then we'll get there.
Yep. Step at a time.
Step at a time, man. But I'm excited. I've got this renewed enthusiasm for this team. And I think it's just so close. They're playing well right now. The offense is probably what the big thing is. They're actually playing well. Guys like Mark Canha's playing well.
And every game isn't 3-2.
Right. It's not the whole Greg Counsell's the best manager when it's 2 one-run games and all that. It's like, oh, crap.
Like but I'm sure he'd rather just manage a 6-0 win where he can bring in Julio Teheran to throw the last 2 innings.
Yeah. But I did mention in the first hour, but it's already happening. New York Post about Craig Counsell possibly going to the Mets, which everybody's going to speculate. It was John Heyman. I was reading it last night. Counsell is a top free agent manager in years. He's expected to manage somewhere next year, but where? So if you read it, it did talk about, there was some talk, could he take the year off? But now it sounds like he is going to manage next year. But the question is, where is he going to manage? We know he's going to get paid a lot of money. I don't know, Craig. It sure seems like if he's going to be with the Brewers, but we'll see. I guess. It's going to be a talking point right away. But
you know what can help their case?
They win this year. Yeah.
If they won the World Series and he just decided, you know what, I'm going to go somewhere else, fine by me.
Yeah, go out on top. He's got daughter still in high school?
I believe so. And then
his 2 sons play for Michigan and Minnesota in college.
Baseball, yeah.
So Midwest state.
I don't know. Like, to me, that it seemed I'm still a little skeptical on that. To me, it still seems like they're kind of trying to connect dots that I'm not sure are there. It's
is the only reason because David Stearns is there now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's what I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I feel like, we kind of have an idea of him, Craig Counsell, well enough to know that I don't know. Like, he could do it. I have no doubt he could do it. Like, he could do it as far as be a really good manager in New York, but I don't know. Sometimes that vibe makes me wonder if he'd want to.
Yeah. It doesn't seem right, but again, how many times have we said this about people in sports?
Yep, you never know.
You never know.
We won't know until we know.
Yep.
But just as of right now, as we're talking here in the latter half of September, that would surprise me a little bit.
Would it be fair to say that wherever he is managing? Okay, no, let's say this: if he's managing with the Brewers next year, he will be the highest paid manager in Major League Baseball. Bochy's at 6, I think, is the highest one.
I think he should be up there, but I
I feel like the Mets would make him that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If money was a question, I don't think the Brewers would be able to match what the Mets, or would want to match what the Mets would do. But I don't know if money is very high on the priority list. I mean, remember, this is a guy that still played a long time in the majors.
Yeah.
And yeah, he didn't sign any $100 million contracts, but when you play in the majors that long, like, he doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that's going to do something just for the money.
And there is a difference between living in New York and in Whitefish Bay.
This is true.
Yeah, so he is in a unique position where his year-round home is where he also manages.
Right.
So, yeah, but it's going to be a talking point as soon as the postseason's over with. Until he signs a deal, it's going to be speculated and talked about.
Biggest Brewers free agent.
Yeah. Biggest Brewers free agent and since Fielder. But even then, we didn't think Fielder was going to be back.
That was what kind of made 2011 such a fun year, but also a stressful year because you knew that was it.
Right.
Yeah, probably.
Wow. Best manager in baseball? That's what a lot of
I would put him in that top few. Like
execs say.
I think we've had this conversation before, but I said I think highly Terry Francona, who's won in a couple different eras with a couple different teams.
Yeah, he might be done now.
And he might be, yeah. So I would put him in that top few.
I hope he doesn't go anywhere. I hope. But like you said, if he wins a World Series, I think he would be in that unique position where I'm sure people would be disappointed, but they wouldn't be like.
It would be like getting a nice parting gift when you leave.
Right.
And and at that point, he would be an absolute Wisconsin legend. And I would be at the front of the table saying, you need to retire his jersey.
Ooh.
That would be because.
Statue?
Maybe.
With the sweet batting stance. With the high
filling
bat.
up the lineup card with his hands way up in the air. But no, because for being a player, for working in the front office,
yeah.
Remember, he was on the team as a player in 2008, 2011.
Right. Is he number 2 behind Euchre for like Mr. Brewer rankings, if you will? Would he be if they win a World Series with
Maybe
him?
if they won, because I still think Yount's up there. I
Yeah.
think that Yount is still there. A guy that played a Hall of Fame career, start to finish year, still involved with the team.
I would agree.
I would say Yount is still number 2. But he's in that next tier right now. Like I like a Gorman Thomas, like a Jim Gantner. Guys that aren't Hall of Famers, but yet are still synonymous. And I think I believe, from what I can tell, pretty well universally beloved by the team and the fans.
Wow, he's got a real chance to cement a huge legacy. So, all right, shot clock's going to cut us off. You are going to be at Chi High tonight.
That's true.
All right, Chi High is taking on
New Richmond.
Unbeaten
New Richmond.
All right, so big game there tonight. Hopefully the weather will kind of stay off. Don't rain tomorrow when I'm at Warren's. Please, weather gods, just make sure it doesn't rain. Have a good weekend, everybody. Remember, Badgers tonight, too, as well. Badgers against Purdue. We'll be back Monday morning, just past 6, hopefully recapping a very successful weekend in sports. We will talk to you then.